This conference will now be recorded.
So whatever the account in our AWS we are creating, my suggestion is better go with the debit cards. Okay, so there is an option like auto deduction of amount, the billing. If you are using the credit cards nowadays, by default it will be enabled, so automatically they're deducting the amounts. If they're charging like 100 rupees or 200 rupees, the billing is going to start. If it is in a debit card case, they are not going to charge. Simply they are going to suspend the account. So better to when you guys are creating an account, better to use the debit cards instead of the credit card, so that the account will be suspended. Then again, you can create a new account. So yesterday my account was suspended. So yesterday night I have created one more account with the yesterday was like until yesterday we have used 14. Now I have changed to 15. That's simple. Create a new account and use it. So this is one thing, guys. So don't worry about the amount part. So simply they are going to suspend. Otherwise, we can close our accounts upfront. Okay, I will show you that one also. If you guys are facing any kind of like if the billing is going to start, let me know. I will show you guys how to close our accounts upfront. Right. So yesterday we have seen the Ansible setup and how to connect the servers. Right. So right, if I talk about the Ansible architecture again, we will be having a control mission, Ansible server, Ansible control mission, or your workstation, whatever it may be. One mission is required. On that mission, Ansible has to be installed. That mission we are going to call as a Ansible control mission. That's it. So now from that server or from that mission, whatever the infrastructure right now we are having, like the dev environments, QA, SIT, production, your Jenkins, your SonarQube, whatever the mission you want to connect, establish the SSH communication between the Ansible control mission to your servers, then start working with the Ansible. So how this Ansible will communicate with the servers will be with the help of inventory file. So the inventory file is nothing but it is a host file. The file name will be the host file, which will be located under etc Ansible directory. Simple architecture. Just you need to remember about the host file, nothing but the inventory file. It is going to have all the servers information as an individual entry, or you can create as a groups in the file. Then establish the communication with the SSH and start working with the Ansible. That's it. Simple steps here in Ansible. So this is my new account. So right now I have created one server, and I'm going to make this mission as a Ansible control mission. Just one more time, I'm repeating the stuff, guys. So here I have created a user on the control mission. One second. So I have created a user Ansible. Then the next step will be on the control mission. Control mission means the Ansible has to be installed. So now I'm going to install the Ansible.
Shankar.
Yes, sir.
So in the real time, we will not get any chance to install this kind of tools, right? So like whatever the tools are already available, we are going to just utilize them, right?
No, not like that. So there are two kinds of projects we are going to see. One is the maintenance and second one is the development kind thing. Right. So there, if it's a development kind thing, we need to build from the scratch. So the project from the scratch you need to build means you have to set up everything by your own. If already maintained by someone, the production support, right? We work with the production support, right? So there everything will be available. Just our job is to go and manage it.
So admin related activities also we are going to take care as part of DevOps.
Yeah, exactly. So DevOps is a person, every finger is pointing to that guy only. That is the reason you are getting high packages. So means if something is fails, go and ask DevOps. It is related to your activity or not the activity is related to you or not, but the finger is going to point to you only. So because the person is going to handle everything, the end to end. End to end means from the infrastructure to deployment. So infrastructure, right? So we want to deploy means you need a server. The servers we are going to call the infrastructure. Infrastructure build up to set up the infrastructure and installations, deployment, everything is our responsibility.
Okay. And also I have
Now
one
here,
more question.
mm,
Yeah, so
but
here
the
there is a yeah, go ahead, Shankar.
but the thing in here, if it is a complex project, suppose right now I'm working in a project like loyalty programs. So this is a very complex project that is. So there the team will be there for the DevOps. Like right now we are working as 5 members as a DevOps force. So we'll be getting the helping hands. So some usually a team, a project will not be having those many persons, like 5 to 6 DevOps will not be there. In a project, hardly you are going to find one or two. It's a normal project. If it's a complexity, then only you're going to see huge amount of the use means the 5 to 6 persons like that. So then, if you guys are working like one or two, then everything is your responsibility because the helping hands will not be available for you actually. Tell me, Tom,
Okay, thanks for that,
what is the
Shankar.
next?
And also like I could see some files are located under etc directory, right? So like in the real time also we are going to see on the same directory, or like
Hmm.
it will be in a
That is
different directory.
that is common. So OS related thing, whatever the files you are like the files, whatever the files are storing in the location, that will be common for every OS. Like if the Red Hat or CentOS, etc will be the same directory. There you are going to find all the configuration files.
Okay, so in the real
Okay,
time also we are not going to change any directory of the files.
because you are using the OS only, right? So the same OS you are going to use, but in a different form. The, if I take the physical machine, there you are going to use ISO image or something like that. So that will be also a kind of AMI for us in our AWS is the AMI, but in the background same OS only. So means the file structure everything will be the same. It is not going to change.
Okay, just
Again
like in
here,
our system.
in our
Yeah, just
system,
like in our system, there is a drive called a C drive, right? So like there, like
correct,
we will be storing everything, right? So in the same way it will work
exactly.
here. Okay,
Exactly.
got it.
Correct. So yeah, again, the Linux is pretty old, so you will get huge amount of documentation. The help will be available for use. Like so, if you are facing some issue, like just go and Google it. You will get the n number of help. So that is one of the good thing for us actually, because we are completely new to the administration of the Linux, right? So Linux is again it's a ocean. It's not like 1 day or 2 day or 1 month you cannot cover the Linux. So people are working for the past 10 plus years, 15 plus years, still they are struggling with the OS because that is something like that. But here everything becomes a service for us. So that is the reason we are not going to maintain the administration of the Linux because if I go to the AWS, they are going to maintain the servers. They are going to take care of everything up from the OS side. So we don't need to take anything. But any changes for your service, for your software, any changes I want to perform from the OS configuration side, then we need to do accordingly. So by that time you're facing issue, just Google it. So the locations, everything will get like that. So like that, the job become easy for us. Otherwise, it's a help for us actually. You cannot handle something like that. The OS part actually.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, that is the reason we are trying to see from the installation part. So that in future you should not face issues from that area also. Right? So it's not like uh, the thing is like so you will be seeing the monolithic old projects they are trying to convert into microservice. So microservice conversion means it's a scratch. You need to build from the scratch entire setup. So there you need to install it. They need to do the installations. You need to do everything. So right now the project whatever I'm handling as an example I'm telling you this. When I entered into the project, already the project started 6 months ago. Means when I suppose I entered in June, means at Jan only the project was started. So by that time, our DevOps team is there, architect is there, everyone is there. But they did not implement any kind of DevOps process. Nothing is there. The architect, what he did is a fake guy actually. What he did is, if they want to deploy the code, like the .NET code, that is the .NET project, so that they want to deploy the code, simply he created a IAS server. IAS server is nothing but you can take as a in our Tomcat or Apache like that in our Windows, IAS server will be there to deploy the code into that. So they have created IAS server like our Tomcat and manually, right? So manual in the sense, if you guys remember the Maven setup. So what I did, I installed the Maven on my machine. I bring the code, I pull the code, I ran the Maven build pages, Maven clean package, right? So then whatever the output I will got, manually I'm copying the code and placing into my Tomcat server deployment location. If you guys remember, not web apps is the deployment location. Copy and paste it. Entire thing is manual. So no unit test cases validation, no sonarq validation, nothing, no artifacts, nothing is there. Just simply when the developer asks you that to deploy the code, he will pull the code on his machine by running the git clone command. Then like Maven build pages, like the .NET Core command is going to run. The output is copied, doing pasting. So that's the process is there when I entered into the project. So then I started implementing all the setup. There I need to take a server like Jenkins. Even they did not use the Jenkins. No, nothing is there actually. Everything I have set up my own. Like SonarQube, I have taken a server, install the SonarQube, and I have taken a server, install the Jenkins. Then I have linked one and each other. Like whatever the process we are seeing, the uh, same only. The same process we are going to implement. Either you are going to use the tools like Git or SVN or whatever, but the process will remain same. That's what you need to understand. Process will be always the same. The tools may change. So right, so now whatever the tool stack is there, with the tool help us tool stack, I have set up the entire thing. So there, installation is my responsibility. Configurations, linking, everything is our responsibility. So like that, so you don't think like you are going to see only something like that, but you should be in a position like either it's from the scratch or the maintenance, you are going to handle it. That is also my our course is ended like that only. So it's not like only setup is there, just we are going to make it. So yes, but anyway, as I said, documentation is available, huge amount of documentation available. So if you know the process, if you catch the process, then you are going to trigger the correct, you are going to search for the correct content. If you don't understand the process, then searching also become hell for us. You will search for something, your requirement will be something. So and the DevOps side, the thing is understanding the process is very, very important. So why the tool is has to be used, how to configure it, how to link it. The process means the configuration, the variables, everything you will get from the Google. You don't need to remember the exact variable name. Like if I want to change the Jenkins port number, I don't require to remember Jenkins underscore port is a variable. I don't need to remember that one also. I need to know the file location. Where can I find the file? If I want to change the port number, etc sysconfig is the location. That is required for me. I don't need to remember the port numbers. I want to say the variable names. Something like that. Right, guys? So yeah. So now I installed Ansible is ready. So I will take a new server for the communication. This is my Ansible and this is my web server. Connecting to this guy. User add Ansible PSSW Ansible. Yes, sudo. I'm giving the permissions to the Ansible user so that he can perform any operations on this machine. Save etc sshd configuration file. Search for password authentication. service SSHD restart. Then here on this control mission, switch to Ansible user, create the private key and public key, SSH, copy ID, Ansible @ take the server IP here. I'm going to take the private IP so that if I start and stop now, I'm not going to face any issues. So I'm going to take the private IP. Yes. Ansible. Then SSH confirmation Ansible @ connected exit. So communication is done. Now go to VI etc Ansible ansible.cfg file. Here by default the inventory file will be commented out. So I'm going to remove the comment and save this. Right, since I'm with the Ansible user, it is open in the read-only position. Okay, so right, so in my control mission, I have not added the Ansible in the source file, so that is the reason it is not allowing me to change the configuration file. Either I add it to into this file, then go for the change. Otherwise, switch to the root. So I switch to the root, and I will open with the root user the file, the same file. This is on the control mission. We have added that user on the server side, web server, not in the control mission. In the source file, I have added the user on the server side so that I want to perform any operations. I should not face such kind of issues. But on the control mission, I don't need to add this guy into the source file. I mean, giving the admin privilege because I am not going to do any particular changes, anything on my server side. Server means here the control mission. If you want to perform some operations with the Ansible user, just add the user into the same source file of the control mission. So now here, remove, save. Right, then go to the host file. The host file will be saved in the same location wherever the configuration file is there. Host file. And then here I am going to take the group name. That group name syntax will be, you have to be place the name in between the square brackets. And here I am going to add the server IP address. Save it. So now switch to the Ansible user. Now Ansible. Right, when you want to work with the Ansible, now you need to run the commands with the Ansible keyword Ansible. So then host or group name. So right now I'm going to use the group called web servers. Then module, which module you want to run, -m for the module name. So I want to run ping. Right, so everything goes fine, then we are going to see the success message. So that's what we have seen in our yesterday class. Right. So now here Ansible and running the commands on the groups, we are going to call as ad hoc commands. Right. So we are not going to place in a file, like we are not going to create any kind of templates, right, so that it can be reusable. It's like on fly we are going to run the process. Yes, there are two things. One is the activity can be run on fly by using the Ansible this command line, or you can put everything in a file, then you can run it. Like if I take it an example of our Linux commands and the shell scripts. The shell script is nothing but a bunch of Linux commands only. Right? When I want to repeat the commands again and again, instead of running the commands again and again, simply I'm going to place all the commands in a file. The file you are going to call it shell script. In the same fashion, whatever the activities I want to perform, there are n number of activities are there. I want to repeat the activities, then I'm going to place these activities in a file that will be Ansible playbook. If there's a single command, single activity, then simply can go with the command line. It's like that, right? So let's see few things with the command mode, then we'll move to the playbook side. Right. So yesterday we have seen the ping module. So let me show you the other modules in the Ansible, which we can run on an ad hoc fashion. Right. So now here there is a command called list host, so that the Ansible will give you the servers information which are under the specific group. So right. So here, if I want to see what are the servers are located under my web servers group, so list host is the option, so that you can get the servers information. Right? This is the server, only one server I have placed under the web servers group. So that information I can see with the help of -list -host is the option. So then, right, so now usually when you are going to do a automation, right, the automation nothing but automatically means you are going to launch a instance. So the instance launching going forward with the code only, not like manual. Right, so here, when I want to launch an instance, I will go here, I'm going to click on the launch instance. But when you are going for the automation, so the instance creation also should be in an automated way with the help of the code. Automated way nothing but with the help of the code. So now your code is going to trigger this launch instance, and it is going to create a mission. So then when the mission is created, then I need to connect that mission. Right. So when you connect that mission, when you want to connect the mission, you require the private IP or public IP. You don't know which the mission creation. Right. So if I create manually something like that, then I can click on this instance, then I can pick the IP address. But the mission is going to launch through the code. The code is going to take care of launching the instance. So now the code has to understand, or the code has to pick the newly created IP address, so that you can connect the machine with the code. Otherwise, again, this is a manual process. Right. So there, how we are going to get the properties of the newly created instance, so that you can utilize those properties in your automation scripts. Right. Suppose one more example. So now I am going to create a script. The script is nothing but Apache installation. Right. So here I am going to create a installation of Apache script with the help of Ansible. Right. So that's now here when you are trying to write a script with the Ansible, with the help of the Ansible means Apache installation we know very well, right? The thing is yum install httpd is the command. If it is a Ubuntu server, apt-get install httpd. Right. So based on the OS, you are going to change the installation commands either yum or apt-get. At the end, you are going to install the Apache only. httpd means Apache only. Right. So now the scenario here is we don't know the person who is going to use your script, they can use the Ubuntu server or they can use the CentOS server. Right. So now here, if you write a script to install the Apache like yum install, in the script you have mentioned like yum install Apache, then if the guy has taken the Ubuntu, it is not going to work because you did not provide the Ubuntu installation steps. Correct. So now here you need to tell upfront that this script is going to use only for the CentOS missions, not for other missions. Then that is not the pure automation we are going to call. Right. So when you write a script means it has to support all the OS flavors, not like only use this script for the CentOS, use this script for the Ubuntu means again the maintenance become difficult for us. Unnecessarily, we are going to create two scripts which can be handled in only one script. Such kind of scenarios. So now here the scenario is based on the OS, your installation has to be changed. If the machine OS is Ubuntu, then your installation should be take the Ubuntu apt-get command. If the machine OS is CentOS, then your installation should pick the yum command. Like that, you write the commands in the script, so that only one script can handle anything. So that's what we are going to call it pure automation. The server flavor can be anything. Server means the OS flavor can be anything, but your script has to be picked up like that. So like here, the concept here is knowing the properties. If you know, right, so if the newly created machine OS name, if you know the OS name, then you can handle your script. Like if it is Ubuntu, then run the apt-get. If it is the CentOS, then run the yum install. If you don't know the OS flavor of the particular newly created machine, then your script is not able to handle. So how your script will understand, or how your script will know the system, the newly created machine OS. So that's where again the properties. So the properties are going to play a vital role in your automations, right? Because you are not going to create the manual, so it will be created by through automation, through the scripts only. Now your script has to understand the properties. It has to pick the properties, right? How it is going to pick the properties? With the help of the module. So the module we are going to call as a setup. In our Ansible, we have a module called setup. So this setup will give you the mission properties. Then from that you can understand, okay, this is the property which I need to pick up in my script. Right. So let's see here. Copy, and I'm going to run this setup. So due to the copy paste, this special characters are going to change. Remove this one again. Give the hyphen here. Then enter. Now here you can find the properties of my servers. So let's see here. You can see all the properties: user group ID, user ID, user shell. Right. So when I want to know the user ID, this mission user ID I want to know, then this is the property we need to use, Ansible underscore user underscore ID, so that it is going to give you the value of the particular user. Right. So now here, now with the help of the setup, we can know the properties. Then you can utilize these properties in your scripts. Suppose as an example, we have discussed about the OS stuff, right? So based on the OS, I want to run, or I want to execute my script, the commands. So this is the property. Right. So now in your automation scripts, you are going to take this property. Which property? Ansible underscore OS underscore family. Then you are going to use this property. If my Ansible underscore OS underscore family is equal to Red Hat or CentOS, use yum. Now you know if else conditions. Else, if my Ansible underscore OS underscore family is equal to Ubuntu, then use apt-get. That's it. Right. So now how we are going to know the properties? With the help of setup module. Now you can use these properties in our automation scripts whenever we require. So everything you can get, all the properties of the mission we can find under this setup module. IP address, our mission IP address, right? So when you want to have the IP address, IPv4 address is the property, so that you can know the IP address. Like that. So like that, this is the one of the useful module for us. Setup is the one of the useful module. So when you require to know the system properties, then you can run the setup module, then you can pick the property whatever you're looking for. Like this is one thing. So then I want to run the Linux commands with the help of Ansible. Running the Linux commands with the help of the Ansible. Now again, all will be in the form of modules. If I take the Jenkins, whatever the activities you want to execute, those are nothing but the plugins. By default, right? So by default, Jenkins is not going to handle anything. Simply it's going to use the plugins. So now based on the requirement, we are going to choose the respective plugin. If I want to manage the users, right there, I'm going to use the role-based strategy plugin. If I want to have multiple source code managements, I am going to use the multiple SCMs plugin. Like that, whatever the requirement you are having, you are going to choose the respective plugin. Choose the means you are going to take the respective plugin, then you are going to utilize it. In the same fashion here also, in the Ansible, you are going to get in the form of modules. Modules are nothing but predefined code. You don't require to write anything. Simply go and take the correct module and use it. Right. So now here, when I want to run the Linux commands, now we need to figure out what is the module available in the Ansible so that I can use it. So now in the Ansible, we are having a module called command. Command is the module. The command module can be used to run the Linux commands with the help of Ansible. Right. So now here, -a means arguments. Now command means nothing but you are trying to run the Linux commands. Now what is the command you want to run? So nothing but my arguments. uptime. Uptime I want to run. So copy. "16 is back." Like just now I have created this mission. So 16 minutes back only it start running. So no, nothing, no load, something like. So now this is on the server 137, nothing but my web server. So likewise, we can run the Linux commands by using command module. So host name, I want to see the host name of the my server. This is my host name, my server host name. Right. So you can find here. PC to ESC from internal. So this one. This one, the DNS, private DNS. Right. So there's nothing but my host name. Right. So likewise, we can run the Linux commands with the help of Ansible module called command. I want to see the date. Like that. So now, right. So now here we have one more module is available. So to execute any shells, like you want to routing the files. Right. So not the simple commands. If you want to run the any shell commands, shell nothing but right. So check the conditions, something like that. You can use the shell module also. Right. So now here I'm going to take this example. Right. So here I'm going to use bin bash, bin sh, bin bash shell. Right. So here I'm going to use the shell. Right. So now means if you sometimes your Linux will be having the other shells like CSH, Karn shell, KSH, like that. So when you want to use those shells with the help of the Ansible, then shell is the module. So by default, shell will be always bash bash born against shell. By default will be there. So obviously we'll take the same shell. So if I don't have any specific shell. So now here the shell is nothing but I want to you run the command again ls-l long list. I want to route into some temp.txt file. Now tell me guys where this file will be stored. Temp.txt. Any guess? Okay, fine. So let me know when I run the date command, whether this
Under
date
the bin
command out.
folder?
No. Here my question is, where it is going to store means on this control machine is going to store, or the server it is going to store.
It's on the web servers.
Correct. On the web server is going to store because your activity will be on the server side, not on our control machine. Correct. So your control machine is going to connect to the servers, then these operations are going to perform. So when I say create a file temp.txt, this temp.txt file should contain the information of the long list. So right, which long list is going to take? Whatever the user I'm going to use here. So Ansible is the user. So now this Ansible user will try to connect to the Ansible user of the web server, my destination server, my target mission. Then once the connection is happened, the home location of the Ansible user, nothing but home/Ansible. That will be taken as a long list, the directory. Then it is going to create a temp.txt file for that information. It will be stored on the same location. Right. So now here the command got executed. Right. So now here I'm going to break it here. ls just for confirmation here. I am not going to see any file here because already I am in the same Ansible user. This is my control mission. So now let's go to the target. This is the target, and try to switch to the user Ansible. CD, so that you switch it from the root, right? So now I'm in the Ansible user home location. Now try to give ls. You can find the file tmp.txt, which was created through this Ansible command. So now if I go open the file, I should see only the empty, because nothing is there in my current location except this file. I don't find anything. So obviously it should be the empty file only. The same file only has captured the information. Apart from that, nothing. Right. So likewise, right. So what the concept here is, everything you are trying to perform on the destination targets, not on the control mission, whatever I'm trying to run. So that's what you need to focus here, guys, because here I'm going to tell run on the group web servers. Right, whatever the activities we are going to perform here, this activity should be run on the web servers group. The web servers group might be one mission or 100 servers. We don't bother about it. Your Ansible will be taken care. As of now, we have placed only one server. In going forward, I'm going to add one more server. Like that. So, right, you will be having 5 to 6 web servers. And, right, so I want to perform operation in all the web servers, not like one by one. Simple. Just only one thing we need to do here is create a group, add the servers, then run the command. That's it. Automatically is going to happen. Right. So now let me go and run the other commands. These are the ad hoc modules we are trying to run. So now here in the modules again, like again in the sense, one more module is nothing but creating the users. So now here I want to create a user with the help of again the Ansible. So now here I am going to take this command. Every operation should be run from the Ansible control mission. Ansible app servers -m. My module name is user. Right. So now the user requires the arguments: username, user ID, group ID, shell, home location. Right. These properties will become as arguments here. So -a, then username, and some password I have given. That hyphen become is nothing but, right. So here, if this guy is not having sufficient privileges to run this command, then we are going to give the sudo privileges. Nothing but hyphen become. In the Ansible, hyphen become is nothing but whatever the user is trying to run the commands. If the guy is not, if suppose if the guy is not having the sufficient privileges, then we are going to use the sudo, right. In the same fashion here, we are going to use hyphen become. Safer side. So now here I can see a change. Change means action has been performed. So now here I can see here the user is created with the so and so properties. User ID 1002, group ID, and something like that. Password. Right. So now here let's go and see on the target mission. So to see the user's information, right, cat the file etc and passw, right. So we know the file passw is the file where you can find all the user's information. Here you can see user one is created, right, with the help of the Ansible module called user. Right. Straight away you can create the users. Right. The advantage here is it's not like only, like we are targeting only one mission. We are targeting like hundreds of servers or tens of servers. That's where the advantage of these configuration tools. So just to our job is to add the servers. So like otherwise, the better case, I'm going to create one more user. Sorry, not the user, one more instance. Review and launch. So this is one more server, web server 1. Initial setup should be done on the servers, otherwise your Ansible is not able to connect. Initial setup means SSH communication. For that also we can write the shell scripts. Instead of doing something like that, we can write the scripts, Python shell, so that the scripts will be taking care of passing the public keys into the server. Right, we'll see that in the shell scripts, we'll see how this process will be automated. So then connect it. The same steps I'm repeating. First, I'm going to create the user and set up the password for him. The password purpose is to for the public key copy sake. In BI etc SSH config one second. It is very slow. Okay, I think so. That will work. So slash password authentication PSS comment and comment the no. Save it. Service SSHD restart. Done. Now go to the control machine. SSH copy ID Ansible @ my new server IP. Ansible done. SSH Ansible @ new server IP. Success. Right, so that's it. So now here I will go to etc Ansible inventory file hosts. I will go to the hosts file Ansible Again, here the problem with this, right? So let me come back. VI etc versus sorry Ansible and host file. Here I am going to add this new mission IP also. Right, so now here I have two servers now under the group called web servers. So now whatever the action I am going to perform through the Ansible on this group, it is going to perform that action on whatever the servers right now under this group is going to trigger, or it's going to execute on all the servers. Right now we have two, means it is going to execute on the two. Until now we have seen only one server. Now going forward it will be executed on the two servers. So now let's switch to the Ansible user. Now try to run the command again, creation of user. So I'm going to create a user1, same command on the group called web servers. So already in my server 1, nothing but the web server, I have the user. Whatever the new mission right now I created, it is not going to have that user. Right? It's a fresh mission. The last user I can say Ansible. Right, so now here let's try to run the command. 172.31.44.215 missing sudo password. Right, so here this guy we forget to add in the root section via source file. VA sudo this guy is busy because already I am trying to open with the other network, so there is a reason it is still holding the file. Sudo information sudo kill-9. cd etc ls-a. This is the file which I'm looking for actually, and it created a swap file somewhere. Swap. So if it is in, like the resources are locked like this. So if I forcefully exit, then it's going to get the swap files, SW files. So every time if I'm trying to open the file, every time we want to ask for the attention. So if you don't want to face that kind of attention, simply remove this hidden file. So the swap file. So I'm going to remove this one. Or yes. So now if I run the command, it is not going to ask any attention. Directly to go to the file. So then root and here I'm going to repeat the command Ansible. Right, because to create the user, the Ansible user is not having the sufficient privileges. So that is the reason it is throwing an error. So that is the reason I'm going to add this guy as admin on this new server, so that we are not going to face such kind of errors in future. So safer side service SSHD restart. Now go to the control mission again and try to run the command. Okay, let me connect the server. This is the command, right? So now I'm going to run the command again, enter. Right, now you can observe here it connected to two servers, 137 and 215. If I go to my AWS, right, this is the 215 web server 1. And if I go to select the web server, this is 137, right? 137, right? 137, right? So now it connected to two servers and it performed the action. The action is nothing but here creation of user. Now you guys can observe here it is in the green color and it is in the yellow color, right? So now the Ansible, the advantage with this configuration management tools is maintaining the state, right? So already if the action already the action has been performed on the servers in the past, it is not going to execute the action again. So it's going to maintain the state. Like your shell scripts, those guys are not going to maintain any state. If I run the command again, it's going to go and run the command. That's it. Even though it exists or not, it won't bother about it. State maintenance will not be there. So that's where this configuration tools become popular. Otherwise, we don't require this kind of configuration tools. Simply I can use the shell scripts. Right. So now here these guys are going to maintain the state. So unnecessarily again the burden is going to be unnecessarily. That means the burden means utilizing the resources, running the commands again. The resource means CPU, memory, everything you are going to utilize. The bandwidth, if something has to be installed. Like many things in the background. Those are got eliminated because of the state maintenance. So now here this guy already on the user on the web server. This guy exists. The guy means user one. So that is the reason it is not taking any action. It is going to show you already this guy is there. That is in the green color. So any action has been performed. Then you can see here change in the Ansible. The observation here is success means already is there. The change means the action has been performed. So now here on the new server 215, I don't have this user. That is the reason the action has been performed. I can see the output. Okay, so if I go to the new server cat psswd, that's obviously you are going to see the user one like that. So now let's go and try to see the other modules. right? We have created a user. I want to delete that user, or that user, some other user, deletion of the users. So there we are going to use the same module. The module nothing but user only, hyphen name user only. But if you want to delete, then you are going to pass one option called state. State is the option we are going to pass. So by default, state will be the install creation. That is the reason for creation or for installations, we don't need to mention the state option. By default is a create or install. When you want to delete, then only you are going to use the option state in the module as an argument. So state equal to option means it is going to remove the user. Right. So now here, if I want to remove the user, then simply I'm going to use this option absent, state equal to absent. This property here. See here, change on the both the servers. The action has been performed. It got deleted. If I go and see, the user is not exist. No more the user is present. So likewise, we can delete even though it's the installation of any software, any services. There also the option will be the same. State equal to option. That is the reason. Either remove or delete. But for the both case, state equal to option we are going to use. We'll see how to install then how to remove with the modules. So this is like we are going to use, right? So now here, right? So now we are trying to understand few modules, right? Which are going to use in our regular day-to-day basics. But there are n number of modules are available. I will give you the document also, guys. You can go to the documentation to find the more modules. We'll see. So now here one more module, nothing but the creation of files. I want to create a file on my target servers. Right. So if you want to create a file on a target servers, then the module name file is the module name. Right. So now once you know the module name, now when I want to create a file, obviously I require the file name and I require the location. So where you want to create the file, what is the file name? Then apart from that, the properties you want, like who is the owner, what kind of permissions you want to provide. Those are the properties, right? So those properties and this module, like in the Ansible, you can use those properties as arguments and the module name as a file. So now here I'm going to mention, I'm going to create a file here. Then the destination is a property, nothing but the argument in the Ansible, nothing but what is the file name you want to create and what is the location, at which location you want to create the file. And state touch. The state equal touch means, as I said, state by default is a create. But why here I have mentioned a state equal touch, we'll see in the next slide. So now here touch means I want to create an empty file. Touch is the command, right? So now here you can mention the properties like the permissions and the owner information and the group information like that. These are the optional thing. If you want to provide, you can provide. Otherwise, by default, your system will be taken care. Right. So now here I will take this command and I am going to execute it from my control machine. Right. So now here you can see shankar.txt is created on the server 1, shankar.txt is created on the server 2. So now if I go to my home location of the servers, su Ansible, shankar.txt is created. So this is the server 1, and if I go to Ansible on this server, I can see the shankar.txt is created. So likewise, we can use the file module to create the file. So now I want to create a directory with the help of Ansible. That if you want to create a directory, then there is no separate module for the creation of directory. The same module in the sense the file module only we are going to use to create the directory. That is the reason the state option has been used here. Now here the same file module is going to use, the same file module going to use to create the file or a directory. Just we need to change the property called state. When I say touch means you're going to create a file. When I say directory means you're going to create a directory. The same one. That's so now let's see. Here we need to mention as a directory. That's it. Right. So now here I'm going to create a directory here with the help of the module file only. Right, so now here this is the directory name we have provided. We and there some name. So if I go just for confirmation, you can see the directory is created. And the both the servers obviously is going to create because it is going to show you yellow means the action has been performed. So likewise, the file is the module which is going to use for to create the files or directory with the help of the option state.
Okay.
Right. So likewise, yeah, Chris.
So the value you're passing to that mode option, does that is that any specific value, or here you pass 755 and before you pass 600?
Correct. So if you remember our Linux commands, the file permissions or directory permissions, the permissions can be given for the files in two ways. One is a characteristical way representation, the second one is a numerical way representation. So Chris, if you go through the recording now, you'll understand what exactly this 76600 or 7 something like that. So LS-L. So here this permission block is going to represent by that particular mode.
Okay.
Okay, na? So just go to the slide recording once na? Otherwise I will clarify one more time. Okay.
I'll go through that. Thank you for that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So now here the other the other modules in Ansible, nothing but copying the content. So now here same like, so now here the observation here is I am trying to explain you the commands, Linux commands only in the form of Ansible modules. That's it. Right. So now here, if I want to copy the content with the help of Ansible, then copy is the module, and you are going to provide the same source and destination. Right. So now here, whatever the source you are going to provide, the source should be on the control mission. From your control mission, you have to have some file. That file I want to copy into my destination. So obviously it's going to throw an error because I said copy the sample.txt. The file will not be exist. That is the reason it is going to fail. So now here let me create a file touch sample.txt. Now run the command again. Done. Right. So now here the sample.txt file is copied into my both the servers like that. Right. So now copy is the module which you can use to copy the content from your control mission to the from your source to destination. Right. With the help of copy is the Ansible module. Simple, straightforward commands, simple modules here. No complexity in the Ansible module. That is the reason Ansible become very popular than your Chef and Puppet actually. So now in the same fashion, if I want to install the softwares installations, so with the help of the Ansible, how I am going to install the packages. Right. So we know for the CentOS or Red Hat, we are going to use M command. For the Ubuntu Debian, like we are going to use the apt-get or apt, right? So now here the same command only we are going to use for the installations by using the Ansible. Right. So here module name will be the same, yum or apt or apt-get. Then the arguments here, right? The arguments are nothing but what package you want to install. I want to install, suppose here in this example I have taken the git. I want to install the git. State equal to present. By default, it is an installation. You don't need to give, right? Otherwise, if you want to explicitly give me state equal to present. If I give absent, it is going to uninstall. Right. So now here, if I go and see in my server's git, the git command not found. Git command not found. So now I want to install git on both the servers. So simply what I can do, I'm going to use my Ansible module called yum. Then I'm going to install the git on the both the servers. That's it, done. So now here if I go and say git version, git is ready. Git is ready, right? So that's there, right? So even it's not like the count of the servers 1 or 100. We don't bother about it. It will take care of the Ansible or Chef or Puppet will take care the configurations, the installations. Right. So likewise, you can install anything. Like suppose if you want to install the Apache, simply I'm going to change the name from the git to Apache. That's it. The Apache will be installed. So likewise, once the installations are done, suppose if I install the Apache, then what I need to do, I need to start the Apache. So there, the services action can be here started, stop, restarted, like that we are going to give. We'll see in our playbooks. I'm going to use these models again. So there I will show you how exactly it's going to use. Okay, right. So these are the some modules which we have covered in the Ansible side. But there are plenty of modules are available. So right, so based on the requirement, we are going to use those modules. So now if you want to see those modules information, right, in the Ansible, two ways. Two ways we can find the modules information. One is through the CLI. You don't need to go to any kind of GA stuff. Simply, you can find the information of the modules by using the command line mode. So for that, we need to run the command ansible-doc-l. So now wherever the Ansible is installed, this is my control mission. Wherever the Ansible is installed, on the same mission, ansible-doc-l. So that is going to give you the entire list here. So all the modules information here. So if I go enter, so many, right? So here like that you are going to see. So if I try to find for some module EC2, the particular module. Otherwise, search for copy module. Win copy. That is for the Windows missions. EC2 AMI copy window. This is the model copy. Right. So now you can see here the copy module, copy files to remote locations. That's done here. What I can do, you can get the information, more information about the particular module. I want to see the more information about the module. Then what you can do here is Ansible-doc, then the module name, so that it will give you the particular module information. Suppose I want to know this copy module syntax and other stuff. So what I can do, quit q, then Ansible -doc, then my module name copy. Right now this is the copy module syntax, the options. Right, so what are the options are available here? Enter. You are going to find the complete information about the module. Here you can find the example. At the end, you can see the examples. So how to use this module. Well, the same thing I have used, right? So copy the module I have used. I have given the source. I have given the destination. If any one information, group information, formations, you can provide that one also. So right. So likewise, you can find the modules help with the help of Ansible-doc. Ansible-doc. -l will give the entire list. Then from the list, what is the module you want to see the help, then give the module. Now the same thing I want to go through the GUI mode. Instead of CLI is a bit of confusing for me, then I want to go in the GUI mode. For that, we have the documentation link also. So open this link, all the modules list. This is the link, guys. Just go through this link so that you can find the same information. Whatever we have seen to the CLI, the same you are going to find to the GUI. These are all the models and models by file models, net models, messaging models. If you want to go through the sections wise, you can go through like, otherwise this is the complete models information, all modules. Yeah, huge amount of list you are going to see. Okay, so now from that I want to same. Suppose if I want to see the copy module. Same, right? So file remote location. Click on this. Whatever the CLI, right, the documentation we are seeing, the same you can find it here. The same thing at the end you are going to see the example part also. The same help, no difference with the CLI or GA, the same thing only you are going to see. So the best part is you don't need to remember this link and other stuff. Simply Google copy using Ansible. You can write a search with your requirement so that directly it will go to the particular documentation. You don't need to go and see that. And it's straightforward. The same thing you are going to see like that. Like that also can search, right? The searching is in our hand. How we are going to search it, right? The best part is always based on the requirement. I don't need to go in the list and search for that like that, right? So this is the documentation, guys. I have provided both the GF part and as well as the CLI one, right? Which one is easy for you? You can go through that. So then in our Ansible, right? So whatever the modules we are seeing, those are nothing but the commands, the ad hoc things we are going to call on fly. I want to execute the part means we'll go through the Ansible command line mode, CLI mode. So, but when I want to repeat this task again and again in future, I am going to execute it. So there again is a manual task. It should not be a kind of automation, right? Again, I need to run the command again and again. So for that, what we can do here is changing the modules, the commands, CLI things into the automation question, nothing but scripts. So right, the scripts here we are going to call as a playbooks in the Ansible. We are going to call as a playbooks. So now the playbook is nothing but a bunch of modules. Simple. The playbooks are nothing but a bunch of modules we are going to put in a file. The file we are going to call as a playbook. The set of actions. Right. So now here, what is the syntax of the playbook? If I want to start writing up a playbook, what kind of syntax I need to follow? Right, if I want to start writing a Jenkins file, the syntax will be the first you are going to start with the pipeline, then followed by the agent, right? Then followed by the stages, then stage, then task. At the end, you are going to give the post section, then you are going to close it. Like that, the syntax will be. In the same fashion, in the Ansible, if I want to start writing the playbooks, then what is the syntax we are going to follow? First, the playbook is going to start with the 3 hyphens. Right, so earlier starting of the Ansible, by the time these 3 hyphens are mandatory, now it's become as an optional. If you want to give, you can give it, otherwise you can ignore it also. But usually the practice of the playbooks are nothing but it's going to start with 3 hyphens. So then the next part will be the host section. The host section is nothing but on which servers you want to execute this playbook. That as of now, whatever the commands we are going to run from this side, right, will be, we are going to use the web groups name, right? So what are the commands I have run so far? The modules I have used, the web servers is a group. Right? This section, this thing we are going to provide in the playbook under the host section. The host section is nothing but on which servers you want to execute this particular playbook. Then we are going to have one more section called, it's the optional section. It's not the mandatory, this is an optional. Nothing but if the playbook is having any inputs, if the user is going to pass any inputs to the playbook, then we are going to use the variable section. Right? We know variables advantage here is. Then the main part, nothing but the task section. So whatever the tasks, what are the actions you want to perform on the remote server, nothing but the modules. The actions are nothing but the modules. Whatever the modules we have ran so far, those modules we are going to place in the playbook under the task section. That's it. Now that's become as our playbook. Right. So now here, which language? Okay, fine. I know the syntax that I need to start with the 3 hyphens, then follow with the host section. Host section is nothing but the server's information. Then if any variables are I'm going to use, then I'm going to use the variable section. Then finally the task section are nothing but my modules information. But what is the language? Which language I'm going to use to write this playlist? Right. For that, the language which we are going to use is YAML language. Yet another markup language, YAML. So YAML is the one we are going to use to write the Ansible playbooks. Right. So now here all your playbooks will be with the extension .yaml. Right. So now here YAML is very easy writing the code in the YAML. The only thing which we need to focus on the YAML side is indentation, the space. The spaces has to be maintained properly, otherwise it will show you the syntax errors. Right. Let's see the syntax of the YAML part. Then we'll come to the playbooks. Okay, just let me show you how the Ansible, how the YAML format will be there if you want to write a code by using the Ansible. Sorry guys, by using the YAML. So usually if I take any code block, so just for the comparison, so in the XML we are going to see in this format: open and closing blocks. Servers block will be open and servers block will be closed. Server block is open and server block is closed. Like the block page you are going to see with the same code block. If you want to write in the JSON, then you are going to see the curly braces with the square brackets combination. Right, so here the servers block will become a, right. So the block, complete block, should be in between the curly braces. Then the servers block is going to start. Then the servers are going to start here. If I go with the YAML, no curly braces, no blocks, nothing. Simply you are going to provide the parent information. Then you are going to provide the child information in the form of key and value. We are going to provide the data in the form of key and value. Right. So now here in the YAML format, the data we are going to provide in the key and value base. Right. So now key and value is nothing but variable name and value. Number equal to 10. Number is NUM equal to 10 means NUM become as a variable name and 10 is the value. So now here in the answer in the YAML we are going to call the NUM as a key and the 10 as a value, key and value pair. Right. So now fruit as an example, if I take the fruit is a key and apple is the value. Vegetable, carrot, liquid, water, meat, chicken. These are all the variables and these are all the values. Now these variables we are going to call as a key and these values are going to call as a value. If I want to declare a variables in the YAML, simple. A colon has to be used. Then before the colon, it becomes as a key. After the colon, it will become as a value. That's it. So now in the YAML, if I want to write an arrays, if I want to create an array, a group of elements which are having the same data type, usually the array will be. But now the format, the definition is changed. You can add any type of array, any type of element. It should not be in the same data type. But anyway, a group of items if you want to refer with the same name, right? So as an example, employees. Employees is the parent name, the array name. Inside the employees, the like we are going to have the Shankar, Krish, Rajesh, Teja, Ram, like that. So they all become as employees, employee names, right? So but for all they are going to refer as the employees is the array, like that. In our YAML, if I want to use the array, then we need to write the syntax will be something like that. So now here you can see the fruits is the array name and the values are nothing but orange, apple, banana. Right now here you need to use the one hyphen. So when you use the hyphens, now the YAML will treat this data type as a array. Hyphens has to be used. The only part which we need to take care is the same indentation spaces. The same space has to be followed. If you move leftward or rightward, it will be broken. Means it won't understand this tomato is not part of this vegetables. If I move the cauliflower one towards left or towards right. So that one we need to take care in the YAML side. The same the indentation has to be maintained properly. Right. So this is the declaration of array or list. List are nothing but it is a form of array only. In the YAML, this is the representation for the array or list. Now in the YAML we have a dictionaries. So dictionary is nothing but again we are going to have key and value. Right. So now here, as of now you can see here my array name and the values. Now here you are going to see key and value basis. Now banana it is going to have calories, fat, carbohydrates, grapes, something like that. So these are the dictionary items for me. Right. So now here these are the data types declaration in the YAML. Straightforward the variable declaration, arrays, and the dictionaries. Right. So now here the only thing is we need to take care of the spaces. So now here you need to maintain the same space on the variable so that all will belong to the same group called banana. Right. So now here if I want the same thing array, if I want to create an array, right? So the array element should be maintained the hyphens with the same spaces. Inside the array you can have n number of items. So this is about the YAML indentation. That's it. Nothing beyond that in the YAML side. So we'll see the list and here that's it. Right. So now here let's go and see. Let's try to understand the modules information, like how the Ansible is classified the modules. Right, whatever the modules we have seen in the documentation, like the groups, right? So whatever the list we are having here, all the modules. Copy. This is the entire modules information of the Ansible. That all the modules. Now, if I categorize these modules, then it can be treated something like that: system modules, commands modules, files modules, database, cloud, windows, like that. So now if I take the system module, then under that we are going to find that now we have used the user module, creation of users, creation of groups, host names, right? So those modules can be under the parent module called system. Just a classification, that's it. It's not a big deal. This is not going to be important for us, but just a kind of information for us. So if I go to the commands module, then in the command module, you can see the shell, script, raw, expect command. We have used the command, we have used the shell also. These commands, these modules will be under the commands module in the categorization. So likewise, if I go to the files module, then you can see the copy part, creation of files, right? Those things, templates, replace line file, like that. These are the modules which will be under the files module. Likewise, if I want to work with the databases with the help of the Ansible, that will be under the database module. So now these are the modules you can use to connect the MongoDB, Microsoft SQL, MySQL, PostgreSQL, Proxy, Vertica. Right? These modules will be under the database module. Likewise, if I want to work with the cloud, your Ansible will support the cloud integration also. Like all the clouds is going to support Amazon, Atomic, Azure, Sentry, Cloud, Scale, Google, Docker, right? Any cloud you can open stack, any cloud you can connect with the Ansible. This is one of the advantages of the Ansible. You can connect with the cloud. Then the servers are Windows. Then we have the Windows modules like WinCopy, WinCommand, WinDomain, WinFile, like that. So the file is the module. In the Linux to create a file. In Windows, bin underscore file is the module you need to use, like that. So like that, the modules are classified, categorized in different, but just for the understanding sake, but anything anyway, which is not that much of important for us. Right, so now, okay, this will cover later here in our class again. So let's go back to our playbook. Right, so now here the playbooks are going to write with the help of YAML, and the playbooks will be categorized, not the categorized. The playbook syntax will be, it has to be started with the three hyphens and host section, variable section, and the task section. So these all become as a Ansible playbook. Let's see how the syntax for the playbook will be seen. Like, so now here if I see a syntax for the playbook, then I can see here, I can show you here, it start with the three hyphens, and the host section, the syntax of the host section will be hyphen, then followed with the hosts, the syntax part. Then here we need to provide the host information, like your uh, individual server information or the group, or you want to execute on the same control machine, then local. Local means on the same machine. So then become true is the property which is not, it is an optional, nothing but, right? Become means here sudo. Just try to call it with the sudo. So in the Ansible, if I want to provide the sudo privileges, then we need to give the sudo command for the Linux. In the Ansible, hyphen become equal to true. Hyphen become is the in the Linux CLI mode. Here become equal to true. It is an optional thing for us. Then the task section. In the task, we are going to provide your modules information. Likewise, you can provide n number of modules. This is the module 1, followed by the module 2, followed by the module 3, module 4. Like modules are nothing but actions, the tasks. Right? So here we are going to provide the information. So then once the playbook is created, once the playbook is ready, then the execution of the playbook. Right? If I want to execute the playbook, the first thing will be because we are completely new to the YAML, let's go and check the syntax errors. Right. So now to check the syntax errors, Ansible playbook is the keyword. Then your playbook name, what are the playbook you have created. Then syntax check is the option to check the syntax errors. It is not going to execute the playbook, simply is going to validate your code. It will go to check the syntax errors. Then if you are good with the syntax part, no errors are there, then go for the execution. If you want to execute any playbook, then simply remove this option. Ansible playbook, then the playbook name to run the playbook. That's it. So that you can run the playbooks. Right. So create a playbook with the YAML extension. If you want to check the syntax errors, use the syntax check. If you want to execute the playbook, simply use the playbook name. Right. Let's go and create a playbook, then try to execute it. Right. So here switch to the Ansible, mkdir playbooks. Just for easy maintenance, I create a playbook. That's it. So go to the playbooks, vi touch or file.yaml. Right now you can see, observe here, I have started with the 3 hyphens, then host section. Right, a hyphen has to be provided, then host is the keyword, then followed by our group name or the host name. Or if it is a single server, provide the IP or host name, or a group of servers, then provide the group name. Become true is an optional if the user is not having the sufficient privileges, then we are going to give the sudo privileges. Already I have added the user in the sudo's file, then I don't require this one. But anyways, it's an optional, you can ignore it. Then task is the one. Right, so whatever the task you want to perform, let's see here guys, the indentation has to be followed carefully, like nothing but the same spaces has to be maintained. Then here the task is the one which is going to have the bunch of activities. Now here my first activity is nothing but I want to create a file. So now here this is the module which I am going to use in the Ansible playbook, nothing but the file. Right, now properties, right? So where you want to create a file, what is the file name? That is but nothing but my arguments. So now here this is nothing but if I take the module here, right? So now here if I take the module, if I convert into playbook, this part move to the host section, and the file, the module name of my file, this part is moved to under the task section. On the task section, instead of VM, I'm going to use the tasks. Then the file, I'm going to use it here under the tasks. Then -a, nothing but the arguments. So these arguments I'm going to give it here. This is one argument and the second one argument, like that. Like that, this module is converted into the playbook, something like that. Right, so now here, once we are good, right, so now here I want to create a file under home Ansible Shankar.txt already. This Shankar.txt file is already created, so I am going to use some other file name. Right. So now here, only the thing is the syntax part will need to be taken care. Right. Equal indentation here. Then another task again, one space has to be provided for the task section. So now here, this is the one is nothing but name is nothing but when you are trying to execute the playbook is nothing but the bunch of tasks. Now we need to know which task is going to execute, right? So if I don't provide the information, I am not able to understand. I can see the tasks are going to execute, but what is the task there? So for the better understandability, we are going to give a display name so that on the console, when the playbook is going to execute, it is going to display the name whatever I am going to provide here. By seeing the name, I can understand, okay, this step is nothing but so and so. So for that, this one we are going to use. So right, when I'm going to execute the playbook, then it's going to display the name called create file so that I can understand, okay, a file is going to create like that. This is the display name for the task. So now save it. Right. So let's check the syntax errors. Ansible -playbook. Playbook, and my playbook name is file.yaml hyphen syntax hyphen check. Okay, so here it is not able to understand the playbooks here inside the directory. So let me come back. Ansible hyphen playbook. Okay. Right. So here I have created directory. Inside the directory, it is not able to understand. So let me move the code. Right, I have taken the code outside of the playbook directory. So now let's try to execute it here. Ansible -playbook. Then my playbook name is file.yaml hyphen syntax check. So if no errors are throwing means the file.yaml is in a good position. Right? If no errors are there. Now I want to execute this playbook. So simply what I can do, I am going to remove the syntax check here and go -playbook, then the playbook name. Let's see here, you can see play the host section. Then the task first is trying to connect, gathering the facts means connecting to the servers. Both the servers are connected. Then in my task, the name I have given as a creative file. The name is displayed. Then the task is going to execute nothing but the file is going to create on the servers. Whatever the servers I am having in my group, on the servers, the task got executed, and this is the closing. Right. So now the same thing like the module, our playbooks will be ls. They got disconnected. Okay, these are disconnected. Let me reconnect again once those are disconnected. Right. So now here the same module only, but in the form of playbook, I have executed it. Right. So what is the advantage here? It is not like only one module we are going to execute. We are in future we are going to execute n number of modules. So now the n number of modules we are going to execute to the playbook, so that if I want to repeat that activity again, then simply I'm going to use the file instead of running the module individually, like that, previous section like that. Right. So let's go and see the other playbooks, nothing but the other options with the playbook. I mean to say the other modules with the playbook. Right, we can observe here DEVOPS.txt is here. Same like our modules only, no difference. But the syntax part is changed. Right. So likewise, if I want to create a directory, right? So now you guys know, right? So create a directory means simply I need to provide state equal to directory option. You guys can practice it. So now here I want to run a loop in our Ansible. I want to run a loop, right? Sometimes you need to you require to install multiple packages, right? Instead of giving the tasks like repeating the task again and again to install the multiple packages, you can go with the loop so that only one task will be handled to install all the items. Looping in the Ansible. So that is right. So here with underscore items is the section. With the help of the with underscore items, you can handle the loops in the Ansible. Right. So now let me go and show you. All right. So if I want to run a loop with the help of Ansible, we loop.yaml. The same story, 3 icons, and I want to create on my web servers and become equal to. Now this is the task section. Right. So now display name. What is the display name? Here I am going to create multiple directories in the display name. Right. So here what I'm going to use? I'm going to use the module called file. Then the module I will be having the arguments called path and the state. Now here I'm going to create a directory. That is the reason state mentioned as a directory. Right. So now the path. Here I am not going to create a single directory. I am going to create multiple directories, repeated actions, creating a directory multiple times. So now I am going to create a vn1, vn2, some directory names, vn2, vn3 like that. Where you want to create, this is the location. Right. So now whatever the directories you want to create, I'm going to create like an array. Right. If you observe here, icons are provided means nothing but array group of items. So now here with underscore items is the section so that you can provide the list of items here in a list. Then whatever the items you want to give means the directories whatever I want to create. This is the syntax part. When you use the with underscore items, then item is the name we need to provide here. This is the syntax part for us on the Ansible. Looping, if the looping starts with underscore items, then the variable name will be the item. Same thing has to be provided here. Item has to be provided so that your Ansible will understand. Okay, this is an array. It is having a loop. I need to pick the items one by one from the with underscore items. So first time it will take the vn1, vn2, vn3 like that is going to create the directories, bunch of directories. Looping in the Ansible. Right, so now here save it, then try to run the playbook. So I'm not going to check the syntax errors. If there are errors, it's going to throw me. Otherwise, it's going to execute it. Right, so here, see here, 137, 137. So they got created, and here 215, 215. VN2 create. Right, so six items are giving up nothing but VN1, VN2, VN3 one server, and VN1, VN2, and VN3 for the second server. So if I go to my UI, we can observe that three directories got created. ls like that, like looping with the Ansible nothing but with underscore items is the one of the section with underscore items. It is a useful one for us. So because we are going to install multiple packages, sometimes multiple actions has to be performed, there the loops are going to use. Likewise, if I want to create a user with the help of Ansible playbook, not the module, so then this is the syntax. vi user.yaml, display name, and user is the module. Then these are the arguments like name, password, group, shell, like that. Simple. Then save it. User got created. Right. So simple. The straight command module is converted into playbooks. In the same fashion, with the help of the playbook, if you want to delete the user, then state. Right. As I said, state is going to use to create or delete. For the creation, you don't require to use the state because that is the default. If you want to delete or remove, then state has to be used. Sometimes, right? Sometimes it's not going to allow you. So there we are going to use remove equal to yes. Right? Even though it's not going to allow, then force equal to yes, like that. Forcefully remove. Right. So here in the above, like remove equal to yes will be remove the home directories, and force will be remove the files in the directories. Forcefully remove it. Everything is going to clean up. Right. So likewise, there are like you guys can practice it. So I did not cover the delete user. You can practice it. Likewise, if I want to do the find and replace part, finding and replacing with the help of the Ansible playbook. Right. So here I am going to use vi find and replace.yaml. Right. So now here I want to go to the file PSSW file. In the file, I want to search for the word called shutdown, and I want to replace with the breakdown. So what is the module here? The module is the replace, and the Ansible replace is the module. With the help of the replace, you can do the find and replacing. Right. So now here the replace will be having the arguments. These are the arguments here. The argument one is path. Path is nothing but your location of the file, and what your regular expression, nothing but your what you want to find, regular expression. I want to find this keyword, and the replace is nothing but the replacing word. Like that you can use. See here, I did not use the three hyphens. As I said, now the three hyphens are the optional. Even though you can use or you can ignore it. Right. So now here I'm going to save it. Ansible hyphen playbook, then find and replace. So now it's going to throw an error for me. Yes. So here you can see observe here, the home Ansible PASSWD does not exist. Right. My intention is I want to go into this file and I want to find the word called uh, what is called shutdown, and I want to replace it. But on the servers, this file is not located in this location. There is a reason it throws the error for us. So now here what I'm going to do, ls. You can see here the file is not exist. PSWD sudo copy -etc PSWD copy. Now I can see password is copied. Likewise here also sudo copy etc PSSWD copy. cat psswd. You can see here there is a record called shutdown. Shutdown is there 3 times, right? In the same record, I can find that the word is repeated 3 times, 3 occurrences. Nowhere the word is found apart from this record. Right, so now I want to replace this shutdown into breakdown. Right, so here with the help of the Ansible playbook, Ansible modules, that's what my intention is. Right, so here I am going to run the final replace again. Now you can see changed. If I open the file again, right? So here the shutdown is replaced with the breakdown, right? So before the execution, it is a shutdown. After the execution, it becomes as a breakdown. Like just a find and replace set command in the Linux. Here, replace is the module name. So likewise, if you want to compress the content, zipping. If you want to zip and unzip the content, then there is a module called archive. Archive is the module in the Ansible. With the help of this archive module, we can compress, we can archive the content. Right, so here the Ansible directory, right? So here archive is the module name and a path, destination, format are the arguments, the properties. Right, so now here my path is nothing but your source. I want to compress, archive this Ansible directory into some name shankar.gf. The format is zip. Save it and Ansible playbook archive.yaml. Done. Right, so if I go to this here, ls, the zip that is created. The zip for what? For my Ansible directory. Right. So here the thing is just to need to understand the module names only. Archive, replace, like that. Right. So in the same fashion, if I want to install the packages, right? So now here I want to set up the Apache installation. I want to convert, right, whatever the servers right now I'm using. Right, these servers I want to convert into web servers. If I want to convert into web servers means you need to install either Apache or Tomcat, right? So once you install the Apache or Tomcat, then those servers will become as a web servers, right? So for that, what I'm going to do, instead of running right, one by one, I'm going to create a playbook. Then I'm going to trigger this playbook on servers. So as of now, we have seen only one task under the playbook. So now the tasks are going to increase here based on the requirement. So now my requirement is I want to convert them as a web servers. So now to convert them as web servers, nothing but you need to install the Apache or Tomcat, then you need to start it. Then those servers will become as web servers. So now here my first task in installing the package. Right, so what the package you are going to install? Apache HTTPD. State equal to present, you can ignore it because by default is the installation. The second property. Now what is the module name here? Yum. So now this is the first task. Now the second task. Once the Apache is installed, then I need to start it. Right. For that, again the display name. The display name is starting the HTTP service. When I'm going to execute the playbook, when the tasks are going to execute, these names are going to appear on the console. Then the module name here is service. If any service you want to start or stop or restart with the help of Ansible, then the module name is the service. Any service you want to install any package, yum for the Red Hat, CentOS, and apt for the Ubuntu. Service is the module name to start the service. Which service you want to start? I want to start the service Apache. Here the Apache name is provided. Then the action. Here the installation present. Here the action is state equal to started, stop, or restarted. So that information I have provided here, guys. What kind of actions you can perform. Manage state equal to started, stop, or restarted. This is the actions you can use. So right, so now here Apache will be installed and it is going to start. Now save this, right? So just try to see the syntax, guys. Just try to observe the syntaxes. Same indentation here. When the tasks are nothing but you have to manage some extra space. Now for each task, I am going to use the block. So each block will be one hyphen. That's it. Save. So now Ansible hyphen playbook and my Apache YAML. Right. So as of now, we can observe here service HTTPD status. Right. Service command is not found. Right. HTTP service could because Apache is not installed as of now. On the both servers you can observe. Service HTTPD status could not be found. And now I'm going to install it with the help of my Ansible. Installation is done. Tasks are started. Right. So now here I can see I can repeat the command again. Now Apache is running. Apache is running. Now go to open the launch user. Right. Since if you want to access Apache, by default port is 80. But for any new instance which you are going to create, only the port is allowed for our 22 SH connection, right? So that one is not sufficient. So I need to open the port 80 also. So right, go to the inbound rules, add a role here. I'm going to add all the traffic. So we know this one, right? So now here take the port. Okay, I think I did not open the port number for this inbound role on traffic. Anyway, save. So both the servers I have opened the traffic. Now I can access the Apache. And this is the one server, and here this is the second server. Second server, right? So likewise, right? So this is the installation and starting of the service will be taken care with the playbook by using two modules. One is yum and the second one is service with the help of two modules. That's the same thing. Likewise, if you want to install any other package like git, yeah, git. So right, for the git you don't require any service section. You don't require to start or stop explicitly. All right. So this is right. So right, we have seen as of now only one module in the playbook. Just now I have added one more module under the task section for the Apache installation. So now based on the requirement, now your tasks, your modules are going to increase under the task section. So that is nothing but our playbooks, right? Based on the requirement, right? So your requirement is somewhat complexity is there. So many actions has to be performed. Then you are going to add those actions in the form of modules under the task section. So that's what your huge playbooks, right? So now here if I take a playbook some more complex one, means some more modules. I'm going to add few more modules in the playbook. Nothing but my Maven installation. Right? We have seen the Maven installation in the manual way when you are in the Maven section. So now this Maven installation, I'm going to make it an automation. I'm going to automate it so that if I want to set up the manual on any server, I am not going to run the commands manually. Simply, I'm going to use playbook. Just add the server into my Ansible control mission inventory file. then trigger the playbooks. Automatically my Maven is going to install. So that's what the automation we are going to do. That's what the DevOps job is. So we are not going to do anything in the manual process. The process we are going to convert into automation. So whatever the tools are available on the project side you have, so you are going to use the effective tool, right? I can use the shell scripts also for this automation, but the Ansible is the better one because these guys are going to maintain the state. It's going to reduce the system burden, right? So now here and also the writing of the code is very easy than our shell scripts. This configuration tools, right? So now let's okay. So we'll see the Maven installation after the break. So we'll take 15 minutes break here. Then we'll come back and we'll see this installation other section of the Ansible. Right, guys? So right now 12 o'clock. We'll meet at 12:15. Yeah, thank you.
This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, so now we are going to see somewhat a bigger playbook, nothing but a bunch of tasks. That's it. So no other thing. So here our playbook is nothing but Maven installation, Maven setup on the servers. Right. So let me show you the Maven installation steps. Then we'll discuss the conversion into the playbook. Right. So if I go to our Maven setup now. Right. So if I want to set up the Maven, the prerequisite is the Java has to be installed. Then after the Java installation, we have configured the environment variables like the Java home and JRE home. After that, once the Java is ready, then we have downloaded the Maven binary from the Maven the community, then extracted, right? So the DAR file we are going to get, that is extracted, then converted into a shortcut, nothing but the soft link, then created the environment variables, nothing but the M2 home and the path, then finally restart the profile, then use the Maven. So these are the steps which are required to set up the Maven and a server. Right. So now these steps we are going to convert into our Maven and nothing but the playbook, Ansible playbook. Right. So let's see here. So the installation, the playbook setup here. So let me copy this content and place it here. Right. So now here, yeah, as usual, right. So the three icons, the playbook starts indication, then followed by the host section. Right. So the host section is nothing but we know, right? So on the servers, the target server, the remote servers. So on which server you want to execute this set of actions, nothing but the playbook. Right. So web servers. So now, right. So then my steps to set up the Maven, the first prerequisite is installing of Java. Right. So for that, what I have taken here is I'm going to use the command module. Right. So because I'm going to use the yum install Java 1.8.0 OpenJDK, the same steps I have taken from there and I have placed it, but the module name I have used is command module, the Linux module. Then development, the development kit also I'm going to install with the help of command module. Right. So that with this task, Java is going to install on the servers. Then the next step is environment variable setup. Right. So the environment variables where we are going to set up here is right. So we know a file profile.d. There is a directory profile.d under the etc directory. So inside the profile.d directory, you can create a file, a shell script, or the second way is we have a profile file under the etc directory. You can add the data into the profile file at the bottom. You can append the data, right? So there are two ways which we can configure the environment variables. One is go to the profile file, add the data, or go to the profile.d directory and create your own file, then add your data into that file, right? So now here, what I'm going to do here is the Java underscore home variable, my home location of the JDK, right? So that is I'm going to add in a file, maven.sh file. That, as I said, two ways. One is append into profile file or go to the profile.d directory and create a file. We have seen both the ways in our Maven installation. I have shown you guys, right? So now here I am using the copy module, right? So now the copy module, what the copy module will do, basically it is trying to copy the content from the source to destination, right? So now here, if my source can be a file, or my source can be a data, a content, a record, my source can be. So right, so here I'm, instead of giving a file in the copy, I'm going to sending a data. My record I'm going to send it, nothing but the content. The copy module will be having a option of either you can copy the file or you can copy the data. Right here I'm going to copy the data content. So what is the data you're going to copy? The first line, export Java underscore home, this line I want to copy. /n, right? So that going forward, if I'm going to add the data, now the data should be added in the next line, not to the continuation of the same line. So that is the reason. Once the data is copied, I'm going to move my cursor into the next line, so that the next data which I'm going to enter, it will be added into the second line. Right? So then, where you want to copy? Right? I want to copy inside the profile.d directory with the file called maven.sh. As of now, we are not going to have any maven.sh file. When I'm going to copy the content, it will search for the maven.sh file is there or not. If the file is not exist, automatically it's going to create a file for us, maven.sh file. Then it will create a file and the content will be added into this file. If the file is exist, simply going to place the content. If the file is not exist, it will create a file for us and the content will be added. So now here, my first variable Java underscore home, I have added in the maven.sh file by using the copy module. Right. So now there are two environment variables. One is the Java underscore home and the second one is the JRE underscore home. Now what I need to do is I need to append this JRE home under the Java underscore home variable, which is located in the maven.sh file. Right. So now here I cannot use the copy again. If I use the copy again, what will happen? It is going to overwrite it. It is not going to append. So if I use the copy again here, simply going to overwrite this content with this content. So there I am not going to use the copy module again. So now here I am going to use the line in file module. So that's what we need to understand, guys. Right. So now here my requirement is here. I need to add the data. I need to add the data, then followed by appending the data. So for the adding, I have used the copy. For the appending, I'm going to use the line module. So these things you need to observe, and based on the requirement, you go and search for the respective modules. Right. So appending the data in a file, Ansible, go and Google it. Then you will get the module name. Then check the syntax. Then check the properties. Go and apply it. That's it. Right. So now here line in file is the module. So with the line in file module, you can append the data. Right. So now here where you want to append the property, the argument path. Right. I want to append into maven.sh file. Right. What you want to append? The content, nothing but the line. The property name is the line, nothing but here like a content. So now here I want to add this one into my maven.sh. Add means append after this line. Right, so that these two means Java underscore home, JRE underscore home, the environment variables are added inside the maven.sh file, which is under the profile.d directory. Done. So once the Java setup is done, then I am going to set up the Maven. Create means I'm going to set up the Maven. Right here, the first step, I'm going to create a directory. So OPT Shankar. Some location inside the OPT, I'm going to create a directory called Shankar on location. So now here the tar file, the binary I'm going to download from the community, Maven community, right? So now here in our Linux, wget is the command to download anything from the internet in the Linux. The same command in the Ansible, it is a module. Now here not going to use the wget straight away because those are the predefined modules available in the Ansible. The module which you need to be used here. So here the module name is get_URL. Right. So guys, do the practice. Otherwise, right? So here now in the interviews, sometimes they will ask us to write the playbooks, right? So there you required to know these modules. Otherwise, your pen will not be moved. Right? You know the steps. You know the steps like yes, that is I need to download from there. But here, what is the module name? That's what the important they are looking for actually. You know the module names or not. So practice it. So that is the reason I'm going to cover these installations also, the playbook installations. The installation with the playbook or Maven and Tomcat. And so practice it and try to understand the modules. So just so that if you do the practice, then these modules will be you will be understand these modules so that you can implement those modules whenever is required. Right. So get underscore URL is the module to download anything from the internet with the help of the Ansible module. Right. So now here this get underscore URL will be having the property URL which you want to download, what you want to download. Right. So I want to download my Maven binary. This is the one. Right. So this is one of the property for the get URL, nothing but the location, the path. Then the next one is where you want to download, destination. Right. Whatever the directory I have created in my previous step, I want to download into the same directory with the whatever the name I have here. Once we downloaded with the help of the get underscore URL, then extract it. Right. So now here the concept here in the Ansible is if the modules are available, we can use the modules. If the modules are not available, then you can use the command module. Straight away we can run the Linux command. Right. I have a module available, nothing but the get underscore URL. Instead of wget, I can use the get underscore URL as a module. If the right, so to extract the files, if the modules are not available, then I'm going to use the Linux command tar. So to run the Linux command, I'm going to use the command module like that. Like that, you need to write. So if there is a module available, so right. So if I use the module, the efficiency, the fastness, execution will be faster. It is going to maintain the state. If I'm not going to use the module, obviously I'm going to run the shell commands only. Means no state, and the performance also will be impact here. Right. So now here the command module I'm going to use to extract the file. What are the file I have downloaded? tar xv have the same command, no difference. Into the location opt center. Right. So then here move to a smaller directory. Nothing but right. So whatever the name we are going to extract here, Apache Maven 3.6 something like that. Right. So instead of repeating the name, we are going to change the name as a Maven. The same steps only. Whatever the steps we have used in our Maven installation, I have taken all the steps and I converted into playbook here. So right. So here the next step is converting into smaller directory, the Maven. So then again, I need to configure the environment variables. Right. So for the Maven, so one is m2 underscore home, the second one is path. But already we have a file called maven.sh. In the maven.sh, already I have placed a java underscore home, js underscore home. Now I'm going to use the same file and I'm going to add my m2 home and path. Right. So now appending the data. But appending the data is nothing but line in file. The line in file module I'm going to use it here. Then the location is maven.sh file and the content is m2 home. In the same fashion, maven.sh and the content is path. Then finally, we are going to refresh profile file so that it is going to apply immediately. I think it is struck again. One second, yes, it is struck. In the meantime, let me open here. That once the path is added into the maven.sh file, so then the last one is running the etc profile command, source etc profile. That's it. So this is the Maven installation by using Ansible playbook. Let's run this one. Ansible -playbook, then maven.yaml. I think it is not saved. Maven.yaml. So that's on up that in between, if your server is struck or something happened, it is going to create the swap file. But always when you are trying to modify it, always going to ask the attention. So to avoid this thing, ls-a, search for the hidden files. There you can find the swap file. This is the one. Okay, move it. Now it won't ask you that kind of attention. So now here vi maven.yaml, then add this content. Then save it. Ansible hyphen playbook maven.yaml. We are unable to read the JSON or YAML. There are errors got from the sketch. Syntax errors are there. Line 31, column 1, but maybe also in the following, depending on the syntax problem. Expected line no longer. Hyphen syntax hyphen check. The same thing will be showing, right? So at the line 31, where maven.yaml. Right. So here you can observe here the name, display name, and my module name are and the same color. So it is something is messed up here. It is not the correct indentation. So here you can observe here it is a single quote starts here, and the ending is not the single quote actually. It is something like that. So now here is changed, right? So that is the problem actually. Okay. So please take care while you are practicing it. So last one has to be changed here. It's not the single quote. The copy paste thing, it is converted like that. So now save it and run it again. I don't require the syntax check. Okay, so now here column 12, but maybe elsewhere the appending shell. Now here the shell is having some problem. Put in single quotes. Source etc profile. Save it. Still it is not able to. Okay. I'm going to remove this stuff. We'll see later. Save it. It is connected. Now it's trying to install the Java. Java has been installed. Environment variables are configured. Alright, so here it is trying to download into the OPT Shankar. Right, so here status code 404 means is not found. The Shankar is not available. Right, okay, so what we can do here is either go and create the directory or else change your playbook here. Okay, it is already have given created directory OPT Shankar. Let me see the error again. Request for responsibility for error not found. Just I'm trying to verify whether the directories exist or not. cd opt. So I can see shampoo is created. Let me change this directory location instead of opt to home Ansible Shankar. There is a doubt that maybe it is not able to connect to the directory. I have a doubt, so let me change it and see. I have changed it and see. Let's see. So that is not the error. So maybe this is some other. Let's see now. So home Shankar Apache Maven is 3.6 dot. So maybe the package issue. So let me try to download this manually. Copy. So this is the way of troubleshooting actually. Right. So duplicate. So here that is the problem. So here it is not able to find that one. So let me remove the destination here. Right. So here whatever the bind I am looking for, it is not able to get that one 404. So the issue with the binary. So whatever I'm looking for actually. So let me go to the site and see. Copy. Maven 3.6.3 is available here. 3.6.0 I'm looking for actually. So here I don't have the 3.6.0 in the Maven 3. So that is where it is failing. 3.6.3 is available. Let's make it as what is called 3.6.3. I have removed it. I will copy this code again. I will go to the notepad or editpad, whatever it may be. Paste and find file 3.6.4 and replace with 3.6.3. 3.6.3. All are converted, and here it is not the single quote. I'm going to change it as a single quote, and this is not working. As of now, I'm going to remove this one. Copy and go to the Ansible again, vi maven.yaml. Right. So now this is the right. So I have converted 3.6.0 to 3.6.3. Then see, save it. Ansible -playbook, then maven.yaml. Done. Right. So now here all the steps are completed successfully. Totally 8 changes, whatever it may be. Right. So my Maven is installed here. If I go to so now if I go to the OPT directory, there you can find the directory called Shankar. Inside the Shankar, you can see the Maven is downloaded and extracted. If I go to the Maven, you can see the Maven complete content. So if I go to the bin directory, there I can see Maven is there, MVN, version, right? So I can see the Maven is running. Right. So now here, like that, if I go to what is called etc profile.d, just for confirmation, guys, that's it. So there I can see maven.sh file is created. If I open the maven.sh file, sorry, maven.sh file, there I can see my Java home is added, JRE home added, M2 home added, and path also added. Right. So now here, if maven-v is not going to work, okay, I think it is working, man. Right, fine. So I thought of it, I have to refresh the profile. So maven.v working from any location, maven 3.6.3. That's it. Right. So right. So now here, when I want the maven on any server, so now what I'm going to do, simply I'm going to add the new server inside my Ansible inventory file, the IP. Then simply trigger this playbook. Let's say one server, 100 servers, right? So you don't require to run the steps again and again. So like that, right? Like that, whatever the installations or whatever the task you are going to have, it can be converted into a automation fashion by using your configuration management tools. Installation. That's where in our CI/CD process, if you remember, in our CI/CD process, continuous integration, continuous deployment process, once the CI part is done, nothing but whenever the artifacts are ready, right? So then you need to deploy the artifacts into the servers. The servers are nothing but your web servers, app servers, DB servers. When I say web server means a server has to be created. On the server, you require to install the Tomcat and Apache and blah blah blah. When I say DB server means you require a server. On the server, you need to set up the MySQL or PostgreSQL something. Right. So how we are going to install? How we are going to manage the servers? There the Ansible Chapter puppet comes in the picture. This is how we are going to maintain it. Right. So whatever the servers you are having, those servers are going to convert. Sorry, I mean to say the servers are going to configure or integrate with the Ansible control mission. Then you are going to write the playbooks, keep it handy. Whenever you want to execute, then simply trigger it from the control mission. Right. So now here, this is one example to install Maven on the servers. Now I am going to show you one more example. Right, nothing but the Tomcat setup, your web server setup. So that I will show you the CI/CD process with the help of Ansible. That's installation, right? I'm not going to run the manual commands to install my Tomcat, to install means to set up the Tomcat. I'm going to use the playbooks, my automated playbooks, right? So now here, how we are going to set up the Tomcat? Again, the same thing. If you know the process, what is the process here? Tomcat installation process. Then simply convert it to playbook. How we are going to convert? Now we'll take the first step of the Tomcat installation. Then you are going to search for the respective module in the Ansible playbook. That what is the module? then convert it like that one by one we are going to convert, and we are going to put in a file called playbooks, right? So let me show you guys. Now here the Tomcat installation can be done in multiple ways, right? I have shown you in the past one way. Now I'm going to show you the other way of the Tomcat installation. Multiple ways we can install the Tomcat, right? So now let me show you the first way which we have used in the past. So right, so that is nothing but downloading the zip files, star files, then setting up the Tomcat. So Tomcat setup here. Yeah, the Java installation is the as usual step for us. So now after the Java installation, right? So we went to the Tomcat wherever the binary available, the Tomcat website. From the tar file, right? The tar file is downloaded. Then here, once the tar file is downloaded, then extracted the tar file. Then whatever the startup and start and stop files are there, the scripts we converted into shortcuts like Tomcat stop and Tomcat start. Then when I want to run the start the Tomcat and start the Tomcat, I have used the etc initd Tomcat start like that. Like so, then the rest will be changing the context at XML file so that the user can access to the app manager. Then add a role, right? So adding a role so that he will have the access. Then with the user and password, we are going to connect the app manager. Then we are going to deploy the content. Right? So these are the steps actually usually. So now here I have downloaded the tar file and extract it like how we did the Maven. So now I'm going to show you the other way, nothing but with the yum command, yum installations. Right. So now here this is multiple ways the installations. One can be downloading the tar files or zip files and extract it and use it. The second way is with the help of the package managers like yum install git, yum install httpd. Means the package manager we are going to use to install it. Then the service module we are going to use to stop the services. Here we are not using the service module. Instead of I am using the etc ntt because I have converted explicitly the shutdown and startup into my own file names. So now here, when I'm going to use the M module, there you can use the service modules also to maintain to take an action on the services. Action nothing but the stop, start, restart, whatever it may be, like Apache, right? Like Apache, how we have set up the Apache with the M modules, package managers, and with the service modules, how we manage the Apache in the same fashion. We can handle the Tomcat also. For that, we require to install the dependency packages for the Tomcat. Then we can manage with the package manager. So now I'm going to show you guys the other way of Tomcat installation with the help of Ansible. So let me go to, if I give 5 minutes of time, it is going to in the meantime, I will explain here. Right, this step is the common step for us. Right, so with servers, installation of the Java, then environment variables. Right, in our previous case, we have seen means we have used a separate file called maven.sh file. Under the profile.d directory, we have created a maven.sh file. Inside the file, right, inside the file, we have placed our environment variables, maven.sh. This is one way, correct? This is one way, nothing but create a file under the profile.d directory, and inside the file, you can place your own variables so that it will be the purpose of this file is nothing but maintenance. In future, if you want to add or update or delete, just simply go to the file and perform the actions, right? So now here the second way is you don't require to create a separate file. Simply you can go to the profile file inside the etc directory, open the profile file and add the content. So now this is the second way, right? So now here I'm going to use the line in file. Line in file is nothing but appending the data where my location is the profile file. Inside the profile file, now I'm going to add my content line Java home, line JRE home. The second way, right? So now once the Java is ready, then the next is Tomcat installation. Right. So now here multiple packages I'm going to install: Tomcat, Tomcat Web Apps, Admin Web Apps, Docs, Java Docs, nothing but the services of the Tomcat. Web Apps is nothing but the deployment location, the administrations, documentations, like that. So whatever the dependencies are required, so along with the Tomcat, I'm going to download all the Tomcat dependencies. So now we know, observe here, I'm going to use the -hyphen means an array. Array I'm going to use, right? So now here the name I'm going to use the packages, nothing but the loop with underscore items. I have, right, with underscore item is like here the name I have given the packages. So now here the module I'm going to use the M module. The M module requires the name, nothing but the packages. What are the packages here? My packages. So it will pick one by one from here list and is going to pass it to the here, and the M command will pick the name and it will install it. Right. So now this is the way of multiple packages can be installed at a time. Otherwise, you need to write multiple M modules for this one, for this one, for this one, for this one, like that, or a single shot writing in a form of array. So now once the Tomcat is downloaded, nothing but the installed, right, then we required a user to connect to the Tomcat. Right, a user is required. Right, so now the user creation. So how we are going to create the user? Right. So now here the thing is, once the Tomcat is installed, by default Tomcat -user.xml file will be created. Correct. So now if I go here, the Tomcat installation, create a user with the admin privileges to access the manager app. So now what I did, I have given the path, nothing but inside the configuration directory, we are going to find tomcat-user.xml file. By default, it is going to create. Now inside the file, we are going to create a user with this content. That's what we did in the past. So now the same activity we need to perform with the help of the playbook also. Otherwise, Tomcat will be installed, but you cannot connect. The user is not, the proper authentication is not there for you to connect it. Right. So now here, how we are going to handle the situation. Right. So now the thing is, one is go to the file Tomcat-users and try to add the content at the end. This is somewhat difficult for us, like multiple lines means difficult means, again the code will be bulky, the code, right? So line by line we are going to add. The other way is, the other way is, the better is, suggestible way is, place the file, create a file with the required content, right? So now create a file means, take a tomcat-user.xml file, take out the file. On the file, whatever the changes, whatever the content you want to add it upfront. Before running the playbook, take your file tomcat-user.xml file. On the file, whatever the roles you want to create the roles according to the requirement, then keep it handy. Then when you are trying to execute the playbook, just overwrite it. Overwrite it means overwrite your file with this file. Whatever the default file will be created with the installation, then overwrite this default file along with your new file. New file means with your content file. That is the easiest way, and maintenance also very easy, because again, if you want to do some kind of modification, simply what you will do, whatever the file you have with you, go to the file, modify it, whatever you want, then again run the playbook. Simply it is going to overwrite it, the file will be. So, right. So for that, what I did here is, I have used the copy module. Then in the copy module, I'm going to say copy my tomcat-user.xml file. This is my handy file. Handy file is nothing but what are the content I want to have in the file. I already have added it in this file upfront. Then I'm going to say, once the Tomcat is installed, whatever the default file will be created, override this default file with my own file. What are the file I have with the help of copy module. Right. So now, so that the users will be ready. Then once the user is ready, so that you can connect to the Tomcat with the user. So the last part will be start the Tomcat. Right. So here the installation I'm going to take you to the M command, so you can use the system service commands. So right here, to start the Tomcat, the system id is the one service. So to enable the service, system id is the module in the Ansible to start and enable the services. System id is the module name. So now here my name is the Tomcat. The Tomcat, then enable, yes. First enable it, then start it. That's it. So now this is the Tomcat installation with the help of the module M. with the help of package manager. This is one way, that is second way. Either way can set up. So like both will be efficient, both will be the same. What is the easiest for you? You can go with that. It's not like you have to go with this fashion only. Right? So you want to convert that one, you can convert it. Otherwise, you can use this one. So right, this is the playbook, guys. Usually people are asking. They will ask you to write the Tomcat installation with the Ansible. Write the playbook of Tomcat installation. Right. So these modules you have to be remembered. That's it. Right. So now here I am going to copy this content and I will go to my control mission. Then Ansible, where tomcat.yaml file. Save it. Ansible -playbook. -playbook. Then Tomcat YAML. Lining file nothing but the Java environment variables. Then the package installations. Now the Tomcat stuff. Right, so here is throwing an error again. Let's see what is the error here. Tomcat Ansible Tomcat -uses.xml is not available. Could not find. Right, because in my playbook I have mentioned like I am going to copy my own Tomcat users.xml file into the default location. That means you need to be file handy. You have to be file in this location. Right. So right now in my home Ansible, I don't have Tomcat users. So I have provided this file also, guys. From where you are going to get, let's install the Tomcat on your control mission or somewhere, some other server. Then go to the location, config location, then copy the file into your location. Then keep it handy. Then remove the server or remove uninstall it Tomcat like that. Like that you can get it. Right. So here this is the XML file. Please save your presentation just to the PowerPoint. Save as a picture tomcat-use.xml file. It is not able to open. Now what I can do here is if already the Tomcat is installed, then we can find this Tomcat. That's it. Right, so the Tomcat is already installed. You can see here, etc Tomcat. Right, so let's see. Let's go to the etc Tomcat ls. Right, so here you can find tomcat-uses.xml file. Cat tomcat-uses.xml file. Right, this is the file actually we are looking for. Right, so what I can do here is I am going to copy this content. This is the last. I will go to my source control mission via tomcat-users.xml. I'm going to create a file. Then I'm going to place the content. Right. So here I required a user. Right. So what I'm going to do, already in the Tomcat installation step, we have placed the role. Right. So this role I'm going to take, copy, and go to your control mission here. At the end, create a new line and add the content. Right, my username is admin, password I have given all the access. Right, so that's it. Then my Tomcat user.xml is ready with the user. Save this file. Now run the playbook again. That's right. So here the installation is done. Green light. So now copy file, enable started Tomcat. Right. So now here let's try to service Tomcat status. See here the Tomcat is running with the service command. Right. I have used the package manager. Earlier we have used the binary. So now here if I go to my servers, any server, web server 1 or whatever it may be, take the IP and 8080. My Tomcat is ready. Manager app, admin, admin. That's it. Right? Simple. You don't require to do a manual installations. Right? Already you have the playbook, use the playbook. Right? So now here, like how we are going to implement it, that is in your hand. Right? How we are going to handle the situations. One like this, like simple examples like this. Okay. Right? So here I don't have the Tomcat or the XML. I have installed it. My playbook failed. Then I went to my one of the server. From that I picked the Tomcat or XML. Then I copy into my location. How we are going to get it? How we are going to handle it? This is in our hand actually. And with the experience, we will come to we are going to get these things. But the thing is the practice. When you start doing the practice more and more, then you will get the ideas. Okay, right? Okay. Now first you will go with the one approach. Then you will think later that why should I go in the same approach? Is there any alternative so that I can go in smarter way? Right, like that. Then you'll come to know the other solutions. Right. Right, so right guys, so this is the way of right. So we have created multiple playbooks. One is for the Maven installation and the second one is the Tomcat. Now when I'm going to set up the CI/CD process, right, what I'm going to do simply I'm going to launch the servers. Then with the help of the playbooks I'm going to install the required softwares. So the servers are going to ready. Then my CI/CD will be go and deploy into the code into the servers. Like that the tools are going to play the roles here. Right guys, so now let me go to the PPT again. Actually, this should be open. Actually, I have provided the code and your XML file. Why it is not open? Let me share you guys. I will share these files also to you if it is not open. Then in our Ansible, we have a other concepts. Like this is the process. This is the approach or the process what it may be to get the playbooks. So based on the requirement, you are going to add the tasks like this. So now the other concepts in the Ansible. So one is tasks and the tags. Task and the tags in the is a one more concept in the Ansible. Right? Let's discuss about the tasks and tags. Now in the Ansible we have a task called pre-tasks, post-tasks. Tags we'll discuss. So now here we can use the pre-task and post-task. Now here your playbook is combination of post section, variable section. As of now we are not covered the variable section. We'll see later, and the task section. Right? That's what we are right now we have seen. So now here, what is the pre-task and post-task here? Already we have the task, right? So pre-task or post are nothing but whatever the activity you are going to perform, right? So now the before the activity is going to perform, any pre-actions has to be performed to execute the main activity. Any pre-activities has to perform, that will be another pre-task. After the activity is completed, you want to go for any post actions you want to perform, nothing but the post activities. As an example here, a simple example. So now here I'm trying to update my application version 1.4 to 1.5, something like that. Right. So now here when you are going to upgrade the application version, by that time your application might be go for the some downtime, right, on the server. Right, your web server, you have 3 web servers. On the 3 web servers, your application is running with the version 1.0. So now here we are going to upgrade version 2.0. So now here the 3 servers will be connected to the load balancer so that high availability can be maintained. Now here when you want to upgrade the version 1.0 to 2.0, so now you cannot take it downtime of the application because the customers are going to face the downtime issue, obviously they are going to irritate, right? Why the application not working, something like that. You are going to, it's a kind of business impact. So now what you will do without downtime, you are going to upgrade it. So now what you will do? So now you are going to take one server from the load balancer. Out of three, one server will be take it out from the load balancer so that the load balancer will be route the traffic to the two servers. Then you are going to upgrade the version 1.0 to 2.0 on the server one. Then once the upgradation is done, then you are going to bring back the server into the load balancer. Now you are going to take the second server like that. Without downtime, you are going to upgrade it. But the thing is here, already you are going to configure the monitoring rules on the servers. Right. So now the monitoring rules are nothing but is going to check the health state of the servers, your monitoring, your continuous monitoring. You are going to check the load, you are going to, it is going to check the hard disk, many things you are going to, it is going to check by your monitoring tools. Now if you take it out the server from the load balancer, your monitoring tool will try to trigger the emails. The server is down, the server is down. Because the monitoring tool won't understand, you take it out from the, you take it intentionally for the upgradation. It won't understand, right? The job of monitoring is to monitor the server continuously. If anything happens to the server, send a notification. So now obviously it's going to send an email notification to people that the server is gone. But that is not the case. It went for the maintenance activity. So there the pre-tasks will be comes into the picture. So now in the playbook, so now if the entire setup with the automation, then the pre-tasks are nothing but stop the monitoring on the server. What are the rules you are configured, you are going to stop it in the pre-task. Then the main task is nothing but upgrading the server. Then the post task nothing but again start the monitoring. So likewise, the pre-task, main task, post task are going to use in the Ansible such kind of scenarios. This is a classic example for us. Okay, right. So now here, right. So now how we are going to use? So same concept, no difference. Just you are going to classify the section so that people, when the people are trying to observe or trying to verify or go through your playbook, then they will come to know, okay, this is the section is these guys are going to use to uh, to stop the monitoring of the server. Then this is the section where they are going to upgrade. So that easy maintainability. That's what we are going to call as a easy maintainability playbooks. Otherwise, it is going to clumsy. People won't understand. Then it is like they will come to you and ask you why you have placed this code like that. Blah blah blah. Right? There the pre-task and post-task are going to use. So now the other one is tags. Right. So the tags I will explain with the example so that you will understand very easily. So right. So let me take this one example here. So now I will go to better. I will explain here only. It is again hanged out. Right. So now here the tags. The tags are nothing but in your playbook. Right. So now here let me discuss about the playbook again. Right. As I said, playbook is combination of tasks. Playbook is combination of tasks. Right. So now here the section, if I discuss about the section in the playbook, you are going to have the force section, where section, and task section. This is not the playbook actually. Playbook, the original definition of the playbook is combination of plays, not the tasks. Now this is the original definition of the playbook. Playbook is a combination of plays, not the tasks. So now here, what is the play here? You are going to have play one. And the play one, you are going to have the host section, var section, task section. Again, you are going to have one more play two. Here you are going to have the host section, var section, task section. Like that, you can have play three, host section, var section, and task. Now this is what we are going to call the playbook. Playbook right now we have seen only this one. Playbook, host, var, tasks. That one I'm going to call the playbook. But reality is playbook is a combination of plays. You can have multiple plays, means a separate setup. You can have all together, you can call it the playbook. That's what the playbook here is. So now here I'm going to use a playbook with the combination of plays. As of now, you have seen only this combination. Now I'm going to show you the combination of multiple plays. So that's what you're going to call the playbook. So now here If I take this example, right, so now here this is the first play until this name, nothing but the host name, host section, and task section. Like sub tags is there, we'll discuss about the tag section. You can see task section. Now this is one more play. You can see host section and task section. Right. So when you see host section multiple times, then you can treat this playbook as having multiple plays. Usually host section will be one time, like this. When you see multiple host section means we are having a multiple plays, a blind identification. A blind identification I can say is, if you observe in the playbook, multiple host means there are multiple plays are there in the playbook. Right. So now let's discuss about this tag section. Right. So now this particular play one, this is my play one. This play one is having a option called tags Shankar. Now if I take the play two, this particular play is not having any tags, nothing but this play is tagged with the name called Shankar, and this play is not tagged with anything. So now here the advantage of the tags here is, if I try to execute this playbook, it is trying to execute the play one, and also it is trying to execute the play two. Sometimes, not always, sometimes we might require to execute a particular play, not all the plays of the playbook. Playbook is a combination of plays. So now here I want to execute only play one, not the play two, or only play two, not the play one. Like sometimes, not always again. Like again, right now I want to execute the play one of the playbook, not the play two. But tomorrow I need to execute both the plays, like that. So now how we are going to handle the situation? So then how we are going to handle is, we have to split this playbook into two playbooks. One is this one, and the second one is this one. You have to create a two playbooks. Then when you want to execute the both, run the playbooks, two playbooks. When you want to execute the only one, execute the only one. Right. So now again the maintenance. Right. So when you are going to expand it means the maintenance will come to the picture. So now you can handle both the playbooks in a single playbook, instead of writing two separate playbooks by adding the plays like this. But when it comes to the execution, you want to execute only the particular play, not the all the plays. There the tags are going to come into the picture. So now here you can tag the plays. You can tag the plays with some name, any name. Then you are going to tell your Ansible that execute only this play. Don't execute the other play with the help of the tags. The purpose of the tag is, you can tag any place to the playbook. When you want to execute a particular play in the playbook, then whatever the tagging you have provided, ask the Ansible to execute the playbook with the tag, whatever the tag I have going to provide while executing it, like that. So right, like that, the tags can be used to execute only particular play in the playbook. Then the pre-task and post-task and task are nothing but whatever the example I have given you guys. So now here you can see here my first play is having nothing but it is tagged with the name Shankar, my first play. Then here I am going to explain show you how the pre-task, the tasks and post-tasks are going to classified, categorized. Right. No big difference you are going to see. Just you are going to categorize the section so that the people can understand very easily what exactly the playbook is, what the purpose of the playbook is, why the pre-task are going to use like that. So now here in our Ansible, if in our Linux, if I want to display message, if I want to display message, then we are going to use echo. Right? Echo is the command we are going to use to display a message in our Linux. I can say hello, right? So in the same fashion, when you want to display message in the Ansible with the Ansible, debug is the module name. With the help of the debug can display messages on the console. So now property is message. In the debug, you can use the property message so that whatever the message you're passing here is going to display on the console. Right. So this is for to show you how the pre-task and task posters are looking like. Then this is the tags. How to tag a name to the playbook. Right. So now this is the playbook 1 and this is my playbook 2, which is not going to have anything, nothing but no tags, no pre, no post, simply the task. Nothing but I'm going to execute a ls command and I'm going to store into some file. Right. So both are pointed to the web servers only. Now this is our wish. If you want to execute this play one into web servers and if you want to execute in display into some server, yes, our wish you can change it also. It's not like only the same servers you are going to use. Based on the requirement, you can use these options. Ansible is giving options to you. How you are going to utilize, that is up to you. Right. So now here I'm going to take this play and I will go to my Ansible control mission and switch to the Ansible user and vi tags.yaml file, and I'm going to paste it. Now let's try to let's try to execute it. So before going for the execution, I want to see what are the plays are tagged, and what are the plays are not tagged, right? So now here, let me run this command to see the tagged ones. -list -tags is the option, so that it is going to show you the tags, what are the plays are tagged here. So now here my playbook name is tags.yaml file. Now you can see here I have in my tags.yaml playbook, I have two plays. As I said, the playbook is now combination of plays. Play 1, play 2, play 3, like that. The playbook is a combination of plays. Now you can observe here. It is taken as a play 1 and it is taken as a play 2. Right? Both are pointing to the web servers. Now the play 1 is having pre-task, post-task, tags example. The name I have given as. Then the second one I have given as a play without tags. These are the names which I have provided at the top before starting, right? So the name here. This is my first play name and this is my second play name. That one you are going to observe here. Now here you can see this is having the first play is having the tags name of Shankar and this is not having any tags. Right. So now you can see the tags information with the help of -list -tags option, so that in the playbook how many plays are there and what are the plays are attached with the tags. So now here I want to execute. If I execute the playbook tags.yaml file, it is going to execute both the plays, play 1 and play 2. Right. So now here my requirement is I don't want to execute all the plays. Simply I want to execute the play 1 which is tagged. This one. This is my requirement. So now what I can do here is, so simply when you are going to execute the playbook, you are going to mention execute only this play with the tag so and so. -tags and the name, the tag name. And so here my playbook name is tags.yaml file. So now here it is going to execute the play 1 only. It is not going to execute the play 2. So you can observe here on the both the missions 137 and 215. First pre-task is executed, debug message, start a task with the tag, and going for the execution of the main task. Right, this is the messages I have passed it here. Currently in the target server. Right, so here the messages. This is the pre-task. Start a task with the tag, and currently in the target server, and complete the task, post task. Right, so those messages we can observe here. Right, the messages pre, main, post are completed. Then once this task play 1 is completed, then the second play is going to execute here, play without the tags. But here I mentioned like only execute the play 1 with the name tagged as Shankar, don't execute the play 2. So now here if I go here now, you can observe play without the tags is not executed. It is an empty. Play without the tags, right? Usually it has to execute the ls command, then it has to route to shankar.txt file. It is not executed here. It is skipped out because I have mentioned that only execute the play which is having the tag called Shankar, Right. So likewise here you can use one more thing, if I remember correctly, -no tags Shankar, so that the plays which are not tagged, can be executed with the option -no tags or something. List tags is the one which I used for inventory become user flush. Let me see the option here. Skip tags. I think skip tags, not the no tags. And so go iPhone tags. Yeah, skip tags is the option. Right. So now here, if I go to my, yeah, this is the one actually. Skip tags. So now here, like repeat the one, then iPhone skip tag Shankar, then it is going to skip the tags one, then it's going to execute the only one command to list the files, nothing but the play to command to list the files. It is skipped the one which is having the tags. So likewise, you can execute either the tags one or you can execute without the tags one. Without the tags means the place which are not having the tags by using the options called -skip tags or -tags. Right. So now here, if I want to execute the both, I don't want to skip any play. Simple, the same playbook command, same playbook only, right? Nothing but the same process. Remove this tags option, run it. So that is going to execute both the plays. Both means 2 plays or 3 plays, whatever the place, right? Now you can see this one executed and this one also executed. Play one executed and play two also executed. So like that, you can handle, you can take a grip on the place, nothing but by using the tags option, so that you can execute what are the plays you want to execute from the playbook. So sometimes it is handy for us. Sometimes we require to execute only particular place in the playbook. Sometimes we need to execute all the plays. By the time, tags are very, very handy. It is our interview question. What is the purpose of tags? And what is the purpose of pre-task, post-task also? They will ask for example. You can provide this example like whatever I have explained. I have given you guys. Right. So now, right. So now here, so we'll take this one also today. Then we'll stop for today because I think I have covered most of the things. Right. So now here, connecting with the cloud. Right. The Ansible has a capability that it can handle the cloud also. Handle means it can manage the cloud also from the Ansible. Right. So now here, if I want to connect my Ansible with the cloud to manage my cloud with the Ansible, so there the first thing will be your Ansible requires the authentication to connect to the cloud. Once you got the authentication, then from your wherever the control mission means whatever server is having the Ansible installation, from the server you can go and connect talk with the cloud. Then you can launch the resources from the control mission itself only with the help of playbooks. Right. So now here, let's see how we are going to connect to the cloud and how we are going to work with the cloud. Nothing but an example. I will show you how to launch an instance with the help of Ansible playbook. Anything you can handle, any resource can be handled. As an example, I will show you how to launch a mission with the Ansible playbooks. You don't require to go to cloud and launch the instances, right? So as part of the automation, right? So when you want to deploy a code, right? So now you require a web server. The web server also can be created with the playbook. Then the web server, the newly created server can be converted as a web server with the help of our Tomcat playbooks. Then finally can deploy it. Likewise, you can do the pure automation. Right. Now further the prerequisites are here is the first one is we require AWS account. If you want to create a EC2 instance means you need an account. Already we have an account, so that this first step can be ignored. Now the second step, create a user with the full EC2 privileges. And when you want to connect to the cloud, the guy who is trying to connect to the cloud, the guy requires authentication. Otherwise, we cannot connect to the cloud and you cannot perform any actions on the cloud. So that is the reason. On the AWS side, we require a user. The user requires the permissions. So whatever the services you want to work from the Ansible, so the particular services require the authentication for the user. Right? I will show you. Then the user has to be configured, right? So now here, suppose I have created a user called Shankar on the AWS. Now the Shankar is having the permissions to connect with the cloud and you can create missions on the cloud, EC2 instances. So now here, wherever the Ansible control mission is there, on the Ansible control mission, you need to configure the user called Shankar so that Now the Ansible control machine use the user Shankar, then it's going to connect to the AWS cloud with the help of Shankar user, because the Shankar is created already on the AWS side. So that's what the configuration. The configuration step is nothing but this one. I will show you. I will show you that how to connect. This is the process actually, right? So now user is required on the AWS side. The user has to have the required permissions. Now once the user is ready, the user has to be configured where the Ansible is installed. Now once the configuration is done, then create a key. The key is nothing but, right here my requirement is creating a EC2 instance. A mission I want to create, a virtual mission. Right? When you want to create a virtual mission, you obviously you need to connect the mission for the activities. Right? So for that you require a key. Right. So right now we are using the private key, right? The private key which you are using to connect the missions. So now here the fourth step is, if you don't have the cloud, right, create the cloud. Then once the cloud is created, then create a key. That's what the fourth step. Already we have a cloud and already we have keys. We are already working with the cloud and we are already working with the keys. Means working with the instance means already we have the keys. So means you can ignore the fourth step also. This is for the persons who are not having the account, we are not having the keys. For us, we can ignore step 1 and step 4. Then Ansible installation. Right, from which machine you want to connect to the cloud? The Ansible control machine. From the Ansible control machine, you are going to connect to the cloud. So already we have the Ansible control machine. Already we are doing the practice. Means we can ignore the step 5 also, because already I have the control machine, Ansible control machine. Now the communication. The communication from the Ansible control machine to the AWS cloud, we require some dependency packages. Those are nothing but the Boto3 packages. Now Ansible will use Boto3 modules to communicate with the cloud. So these Boto3 modules are implemented with the Python. Ansible is implemented on top of the Python in the background. Ansible, right? So now here the Boto3 are the modules which are going to use to communicate with the cloud and which are going to use to perform the activities on the cloud. Boto3 modules. So now here, when you want to connect to the cloud on the Ansible control machine, you require the Boto3 module. Otherwise, your control machine cannot connect to the cloud, even though you have the privileges, authentication. Right. So now here, from where you are going to get the Boto3 modules? From the Python. Python is the base, the parent for this Boto3. So now you require the Python pip package. The Boto3 modules are going to find inside the Python pip packages. Right. So for the reason, first you need to require to set up or install the Python pip on the Ansible machine. Then with the help of the Python pip, you are going to install the Boto and Boto3 modules. So these modules are going to use to connect with the cloud. So this is the background. So now once you are ready, then you can write a playbook to launch the instance. We'll see this one later. First try to set up. First try to do the prerequisites, the configuration step. Right. So now here we have the AWS account. The first step we can ignore. The second step, we require a user with the full access. Full access of EC2 means the on the EC2 side anything can perform. Right. So now I will go to the AWS. This is my AWS. Now creation of users. Anyway, we'll see in deeper on the user side. Just for to understand, just for to connect with the Ansible to the cloud. So this step is required. Just try to understand it. But the deeper we'll see in our AWS section. So now here the service is called IAM here. Go to the services. Click on the services. Then it is going to you can see a search button like a find section here. Then try to find for IAM. Right, this IAM you can find inside the security section, security identity compliance. Otherwise, once you search for it, you can see here the IAM section. Click on this one. IAM is nothing but identity access management in the AWS, the full form. So this is the section, this is the service in the AWS to manage the users. So as of now, I don't have any users. I'm going to create a user here. Just try to understand, guys. That's it. So now here, go to the user section here. Click on the users. Then click on the add user button. So now here, provide the name. Suppose I want to create a user called Shankar. Now, as of now, try to go with these options. We'll see. I will explain you these things in our AWS class. So give the name and check these two things. Then go for the permissions. Right. So leave these two options. Select the third one. Attach policies. Nothing but the permissions. Select this one. Here, search for whatever the option I have provided here. EC2 full EC2 privileges. Now search for EC2 full access. Here EC2 is the service name and full. Search for full so that you are going to see EC2 full access. Don't give the space. Continuation. Amazon EC2 full access. Select it. The permissions. This is the permission stuff for signal. Next tags review. Leave it as default stuff and create the user. Now a user will be created. From this user section, we required the access key and the secret key. Okay, so as of now, try to focus on this stuff. We'll see these things later. So now here I'm going to copy this access key. Copy, and I'm going to place it somewhere. And I'm going to copy the secret key. Click on the show. The secret key will be displayed. Copy and paste it. So these two keys are required for us, right? I have taken the two keys for the user Shankar, then I'm going to leave it. I don't require anything apart from these two. So now here I will go to the services again, go to the EC2, right? EC2 service where we are going to use to manage the instances, the virtual machines, right? Let's go to the EC2 service. Right, so now here, as of now, I can see here there are 3 missions are running, right? My Ansible and web server and web server 2. Now the configuration, right? So let's go to the PPT again. Right, we have created a user with the EC2 access, then export the access key and secret, nothing but the configuration. Right, so now export the access key and secret key on the mission where the Ansible is running. Right, means go to the Ansible control mission. This is my Ansible control mission. Right, so now here again, so now here these two variables has to be configured. One is the access key and the second one is the secret key. Copy it and go to a notepad or somewhere. Now in the access key part, what are the access key you have copied from the user? Paste it here, and in the access key variable, give the access key variable name here. That's it. Right, so now here, take these two variables and configure on the Ansible control mission. So switch to the Ansible user. Right, now here to configure it, to configure this secret key and access key, there we require to run a command called AWS configure. I think I forget to give that option, the command name. So now here the command name will be AWS configure is the command. So to configure the secret key access key of the user, enter. So now it's going to ask you AWS access key ID. So whatever the key we have taken, right? This is the one. Okay, right. So now here, guys, there are multiple ways to configure it. Right, so this is the one way which I am showing right now. AWS configure the command. The other way is directly take this command straight away take the command and run it, export. Right, this is the one. We don't need to run the any AWS configure command, simply copy and go to the server and paste it. Multiple ways. Right, so or else you can do the AWS configure. Anything is fine. Either you can run the AWS configure or you can copy and paste and run the commands. Hit enter. Right, so right here, if I give AWS configure, it is going to ask me the keys, access key. So right, for that what I can do here is simply take the access key, copy and provide it. Then it's going to ask you the secret key, then take the secret key, copy and provide it. Then it's going to ask you the region name. So means which region you are going to use to launch the resources. So now the region name you can find, go to the AWS dashboard, AWS, In the link, you can find here region equal to. Simply copy this region. US is 2. Copy. Paste it. Enter output format. You can leave with the default. Automatically will take it. Then, so this is one way. This is one way to set up the access key and secret key of user. The second way is straight away take this variable, export, enter. Anything is fine. Right? I have given this way actually. Up to you guys. Either if you remember the command, go with that. Otherwise, simply run these two commands, export commands, whatever I have provided here. Then once the user is configured, whatever the user we have created on the AWS side, the user is configured from the Ansible control mission. So that means the uh, communication is happening between the Ansible control mission to the AWS cloud with the help of this user. That step is done. Now the next step is create a key. Already we have the key. You can ignore this step one. This step and Ansible installation. Already we have installed Ansible. Already we are working with the Ansible. This can be ignored. Then the next one is Python pip is required to install the Bota and Bota 3, and Bota and Bota 3 are used for to communicate with the AWS cloud. Let's now here yum. In the yum is the caps, with the system is not going to understand. Make it a small. Alright, so here again the installation is required the sudo players. So this guy is not added in the sudo file. It will fail. So better add it into the sudo file or come out and run the command. Right. So once the Python pip is installed, then our intention is we require the Boto and Boto 3 modules to connect to the cloud. So now with the help of pip, we are going to install the Boto and Boto 3 modules. Now Boto and Boto 3 are going to install successfully. Install here. So now here to see the information, pip show. Pip show is the command to see the Boto versions. Pip show Boto. Pip show Boto. Just for confirmation whether the packages are installed or not. I can see some versions. Confirmation. We got the confirm like Boto and Boto 3 are installed properly. Right. Then the step is done. So now the prerequisite, nothing but the user configuration and the Boto 3 installations are done. Now we can start working with the cloud by using your Ansible control mission that we have configured it. So now here I'm going to launch an instance with the help of Ansible Playbook. So now here I will go to my Ansible user, then vi.ec2.yaml file. I'm going to create a YAML file here, then here I'm going to place the code. So now here you can observe here EC2 is the module name. Right, so now to work with the cloud, right, so the cloud configuration is done, nothing but create a user and configure it. Then you need to start working with the modules, the respective modules in the from the cloud side. Right, so now when I want to launch the EC2 means, instance means you need to use the EC2 service module name. When I want to work with the load balancer, then you need to identify the respective module of the Ansible. When you want to work with the S3 buckets, the respective S3 bucket module has to be configured like that. So right, so now here EC2 is the module. Then I'm going to, here my intention is I'm going to use the EC2 resource, then I'm going to create the instance with the help of EC2 resource. Now the properties are required is instance type. I want to launch it to my cloud. Now your key name, right? So to connect the mission, we require the key. So now here my key is Shankar 15 key. This is the key right now I'm having. So what I will do in the key part, I'm going to change the key from AWS key to Shankar 15 key. Image OS is required, right? So now here go to the EC2 service, EC2 dashboard, try to click on the launch instance to get the OS image ID, right? So now here, this is my AMI IDs. Copy this AMI and here provide the AMI ID. Right, where you want to launch it, right? To the region, right? So as I mentioned here, you can see the region information. For the Ohio, US history is the region. So that security group, as of now, if you have the security group, you can use the security group, otherwise you can leave it default. Right? How many missions you want to launch? Count. Wait. And right, so it has to be, it is going to wait until the mission is up and running. Right? We require a public IP, assign public. These are all the properties of the EC2 module. Yes, I require the public IP so that I can connect to the server. Then this is the important one. VPC subnet ID is required. So VPC subnet ID as of now, here you can, how we are going to find the subnet IDs here. Go to the services and search for VPC. This is one more service in our AWS. We'll discuss this thing in our AWS class. Just try to understand how we are going to get the subnet ID. So go to the VPC service. You can see here one VPC is there only. That is the default VPC right now we are using. And here these are the default subnets. Click on the subnets. Any subnet out of the three, any subnet you can take it. It requires a subnet, that's it. So this is the subnet IDs. So now here I'm going to take one of the subnet. Any subnet you can take it. So let's copy the subnet here. Copy and go to the Ansible playbook. Here I'm going to place the subnet. Subnet. That's it. Right. So now these are the properties which I'm going to use to launch my instance. Now this is the resource name. Rest of the things are same. Now here the observation is host section. Right. So now here this playbook is not going to take any action on the remote servers. That's what you need to understand, guys. Right. So it's not like we are not going to install anything or we are not going to create any files or directories. We are not going to perform any action on the servers. This is nothing but we are going to launch a fresh mission, a new mission. That means you have to be trigger this playbook from the control mission, not from the target missions. The target missions are going to use when you are going to use it to, if you want to perform any actions on the server side. That's where the target groups are going to use the host section. Here nothing we are going to perform on the remote servers. It is nothing but we are going to create a mission. So there we are going to trigger the option, this playbook from the local host, means from the control mission. That's where the host nothing but the local host. That's it. So then the connection from the local only I want to connect it. That is the property to connect to the cloud. And these are the task section. This is the EC2 service and the properties. Save it and Ansible -playbook, then EC2 AML. So now it's a local host. From the local host is going to connect and is trying to connect to the EC2 service of the AWS cloud. The user, whoever the user is there, the Shankar with the user is going to connect and it is going to launch the instance with the properties. What are the properties I have mentioned it here. So let's see, in the meantime, go to the cloud and try to refresh it. Services, EC2. If everything goes fine, it should create a mission for us. See here, the count become 4. Earlier it was 3. One Ansible control mission, 2 servers. So now here, one more new server is going to launch. New server is created. Right. So likewise, right. So you can, right, done. Localhost change one created. This is the one. Right, so now here, likewise, you can handle the cloud also with the help of Ansible by using the modules. The only part is here is you don't require to go and do some kind of rocket science or nothing. Simply the concept here is understanding the modules. If you understand the modules better, then you can play anything. Right? This is the one which I required. Right? The only thing is before going for the execution, right? This is a separate service, the cloud we are going to connect. So you need to understand how to configure it. So every service, every cloud will be having their own configuration. Then just you need to take the documentation of the configuration, then execute it, then configure it, then go for the working with the clouds, any cloud, right? So now here you can find the cloud modules. You can find the cloud modules, right? So now here the properties information you want to see. So there you can go with the cloud modules here. So now here let's go to the Ansible all modules and search for AWS. These are the modules. See here. And this is for the Azure. Right, so now here I'm going to search for EC2 Ansible. Right, so you can see this is the create terminal start stop the instance of EC2. So when you want to perform these actions, then these are the properties. Now I have used the assign public IP address, this one, and I have used the group security group. I did not mention the separate security group. It has taken as a default one, like that. Image I have used it with the properties. So now here if I scroll down, this is the examples. This is the one I have taken actually. Exactly this one, right? So now you can see more, like you can see the more options, and you can see if you want to have the security group separately, then you can launch the security group separately. Like more examples here they are going to provide how to work with the EC2 service, like that, right? So now here you will get the documentation, very good documentation. You don't require to rely on anyone. Simply try to just you need to have patience, that's it. You have to have the patience that you need to understand each and every property, then go to the examples and see how they are using, then simply replicate it, in your requirement, right? So likewise you will get the documentation for the cloud also, right? So you can use the documentation, with the help of the documentation you can manage the cloud with the help of Ansible playbooks if you don't know, right? Right, this is the right. So working with the cloud can be handled with the help of Ansible in this fashion. The only one thing is you require the configuration, then start working with the cloud, right? So I'm going to stop for today, guys. So much of content is covered. So you guys require the practice more, right? So better I will stop it here. The next concepts we are going to cover in our next class, right? So any questions, any confusions on the Ansible side until now, or are we good? It's the easiest one. The only thing is understand the modules. That's it. If you understand, the Ansible is the pretty easiest one. I think we are good, right? So see you guys next week. I will share this recording within 1 hour. So once the recording is available, then I will share it to you guys. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Shankar.
Yeah. Thanks, guys. Thank you.
Thank you, Shankar.
Thanks, Shankar.
Yeah. Thank you. Bye bye.